there. I'm sure we got all that too. Yeah.
Yep.
That was good.
Salvage it.
Yeah. Cool.
Cue the burger. I love this intro. Ooh, hot coffee today.
What you
see, what you see is what you get.
Oh, how's the temperature, by the way? I have the heater here, so if you want
What you see, what you see is what you get. It's what you get. I said what you see is what you get. Now that is what you get.
Food porn.
Is the best thing yet. The best thing yet.
Did you guys, is that your sandwich content? Sandwich making grill happening?
Oh, the purple egg and cheese and chili chessboard. Good stuff, yeah. I like Tabasco.
I had, I don't know what they call it. It's like the pizza dough, but it's turned into a sandwich. First time I had one
There's
of
lots
those
of different,
recently.
there's lots of different things
It's
for
like
you.
salami and
Salami? Not
arugula.
mortadella?
That's what it was called.
Yeah, mortadella.
And it was
Panuzzo
Primo.
is a word for it. If you put mortadella in it, they got like specific words. Panuzzo is just like slang for a couple things.
yeah.
What's the sugar thing called? Panocha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's also slang as well. But panuzzo, it's like pizza bread. We can make one upstairs too.
Yeah,
but that's super tasty.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
good. I love sandwiches.
How can you not?
When I
sandwich.
moved out to Rhode Island, I had I heard the term grinder. I'm like, grinder? What is that?
What the fuck is that?
It's an open face oven, I guess and we'd get it with shrimp on it because we were, in Newport, Rhode Island. And but yeah, some of the, you come from your own little world in Oregon and think that you've seen it all, and then you go out there, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of different names for that kind of sandwich too.
Is there?
Grinder is like a
Hoagie?
hot one. Hoagie is like
Yeah.
East Coast. That's why I grew up calling them hoagie.
Uh-huh.
And the what do you call that? Not the bug etymology, not entomology. Etymology.
Etymology.
Hoagie. It was like that's what the cats who worked on the docks around Philly were called.
Oh, okay.
Hoagies. And then
Okay.
they brought these sandwiches, and then that's how it came to be.
Oh, wow.
Then there's submarine
submarine,
sandwiches.
yep.
I never called it any of that hoagie,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I mean, it tastes good in the end. Blah blah blah.
yeah.
That's what we do.
I had the best pizza back there too, of course. So.
Of course.
I had
Rhode
people-
Island.
Well, I had friends when I was stationed out there. I was single, so no place to go. I was living on the
Station,
ship.
what, you know, fucking Coast Guard or something?
Navy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, did 8 years in the U.S. Nav. But I had people, friends that lived in Boston, New York, New Hampshire, Maine. So I was
Shoot,
they was going with me for the weekend, and
Yeah, man.
I got to experience like these old school Italian moms making. I don't know what peppers and meatballs, and just like
Yeah, sausage,
I got
peppers, and onions.
immersed in this whole culture. Yeah,
It's good, baby. I mean, that's what the sausage pizza upstairs. It's just a margarita with sausage, peppers, and onions.
See, I haven't had that one from you yet.
I mean, it's easy
That one-
peasy, and it's like that's like I didn't invent that, and we're gonna sell
Yeah.
a gajillion of them because people are like that's fucking good. It smells the best coming out of the box and everything.
Do you got to cook the sauce since it cooks so fast in the oven? Do you got to pre-cook the?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we do a batch. Probably do. I think they're 5 or 10 pound logs. Probably do like 15, 20 pounds a week. 5 pound bunches. It cooks differently too because you come in the oven's 500 or the oven's 600. It's like,
Yeah.
try not to burn too much.
I love
But-
sausage. I love fennel sausage.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Oh,
So I
man.
put fennel seed, red pepper flake, salt, and a little bit of black pepper, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Quality.
Straight ahead.
We'll try not to make this whole podcast about pizza.
I mean, it might be the first
complaints here.
We haven't even done it like a pizza podcast yet.
I'm working. I want to get Dino from Crust Collective. I want to get a few
really?
other pizza guys.
I mean,
think that'd be
Daisuke
good.
was on the list from Jump Street, but he's got a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah.
He'd be a cool conversation. He's a black belt in judo too.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
that'd be a cool conversation. Yeah, he's got the fancy ears and everything.
Have you had any ears? What do you mean fancy ears? From getting boxed in the
From
ears?
grappling, yeah. you
Cauliflower
get
ear.
Oh,
cauliflower
yeah,
ear.
yeah. I thought
He was
that's
on
what.
track to be at the Olympics. I think he got injured or something like that.
Oh,
But
wow.
He's a black belt in judo. No joke.
Dang, dude. How sick would
fucking
that
love
be? You wouldn't be afraid of nothing, dude. Just be walking around.
He got that grown man pizza strength now too. Ooh. Let's throw you through the fucking oven.
What was I? Oh, I was gonna. Have you had any design people, like designers, on here
I mean,
at all?
I've got plenty of artists and stuff that have
Yeah.
done some of that stuff. I don't think anybody specifically called themselves a graphic design person, but people have done design stuff.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe a first. We'll figure out. But
Pave
definitely not the crossover
pave the
of
way.
pizza and design and all the
Yeah.
stuff you do.
You know, it's funny. Then after I incorporated the name or got the name and registered with Washington and the whole 9 yards, I discovered there was a place in, I think it's L.A. called Secret Pizza.
Okay.
It's a pizza shop, which is a pretty good one from what I can gather.
Right on.
Or at least what I'm seeing visually on social media and stuff. So I'm like, oh, great, dude. And I'm like, nah, I'm just going to run it. It's different enough. You do pizza. I mean, I make pizza, but I'm not selling pizza, you know. You do pizza and I'll do design. Yeah. Give me a little pop-up shop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll
no.
happen. It'll happen.
It's cool. You want to hear about the name? The origin of the name?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're supposed to ask me the questions.
I mean, you can ask all the questions you want to. That's what we're
He's
here.
got to do
That-
he's got to do the intro. That's
I gotta do the intro.
gotta. It's the best.
That was one question I had. Is like, I know that you have questions probably for me, but if I have questions, I can just
Absolutely.
fire
It's a
away.
conversation. That's all it is.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Because I want to know some interesting things too. So.
I mean, hopefully they're interesting. You
Yeah.
ask a yes or no question, and you might get a yes.
You
or no
sound
answer.
like well read, well traveled. You sound interesting,
I sound
interesting
that
cat.
way?
Yeah.
Even talking like this, like a fucking Goomba from the fucking street.
No, dude, that's all part of it's part of your brand.
Right on, man. It's authentic sometimes.
That's right.
Most of the time, it comes out more or less in different
In
situations.
theater
but,
sometimes, but
Yeah. Sometimes we got to wear a mask or put on our
This-
armor for the day.
that's funny. You were telling me about the story behind cobbling this stuff together, and
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's got left the
Goodwill.
stickers on there still.
all the Goodwill stickers. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
Goodwill's
awesome.
got plenty of stuff that's totally viable for all
Right.
your podcasting needs.
That's right.
Amongst other things.
It's amazing.
Cool. Let's get into it, I guess. 20 minutes later, we'll do the intro.
Hey.
That's good. Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Joey C in the place to be. I got a big boom box and a new CD coming at you live from the GFY studios with the AO Show. Authentic only. Here today, what is that? You starting off with the nicotine?
I was
Gotcha.
yesterday when I woke up in a hotel. I was like puffing it at 9 o'clock, and my girlfriend's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like,
Damn.
sorry.
He was addicted.
Yeah.
Addicted to the nick. It happens. So I'm here today, Smoking Charlie. Old Smoking
Smoking
Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
Smokey in
what
the
you doing,
corner.
Smoking again over there? Quesadich.
It's a vape. I don't know if that's better. I'm just.
I mean, the sign now says, no smoking, no vaping within 25 meters, probably not meters,
Really?
feet of the place, right?
Yeah.
What have you got, though?
I do it down here.
Right on.
We should be
I'm
fine.
cool with that. Yeah, that's the room for all the things. It's a safe space,
Thank you.
as I've heard. How you doing? You're in a hotel?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to go see Erica Badu
Ooh,
on
very nice.
Friday, but then she postponed the show. So,
Erica did?
well, I don't know. Moda Center said it was out of our control, travel issues, whatever. So, I don't know what that means specifically yet, but we'll see.
I mean, she's a big enough star. She could do that. I guess.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like, there's a 30% chance.
Really? Going into it, like, it might be canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, you are coming to Portland.
Well, there's a lot of plane things happening right now.
Yeah, that's
Plane
true.
things?
Plane crashes, plane anomalies,
Airplanes?
plane
Is it really?
plane weirdness.
See? Pull it up. I'm telling you.
we'll pull it up.
We were talking about this a little while ago. You can pull up the graphic. I'm just saying. Allegedly.
You got an
fact check it.
infographic?
So people are saying, there's lots of plane crashes, just like you. There has been.
Right.
But compared to last year so far, in 2024, there was more in the first quarter than there is now.
Really?
You don't hear about it, but for
is
certain
that?
reasons.
That's
I
weird.
don't fucking know. I could be wrong, too.
Huh.
Yeah, what would you call them? Like people killed? No, I won't call them killed people. But like airplane incidents in the first quarter of 2024 as compared to 2025, maybe there was more. And then you have to define what an incident is, too. It's all grammar.
Yeah.
This one didn't take off because it's got a bad engine, as the one went into the drink because...
Right. I think it depends on what's trending politically, whatever. Like, just it's. I heard somebody say that what you're saying. Like, there was a lot of stuff that happened, but it wasn't reported on. The people, media's not grabbing onto it. But for some reason, they'll grab onto certain things dependent upon what's happening in the culture or whatever, if it fits the narrative or whatever. I'm not trying to get political, but
No, you can.
yeah, it's
cool.
weird. It's like,
I'm apolitical, so I don't really know a whole lot about it. So if you
Yeah.
want to speak about it, we might have to pull up a lot of stuff.
I don't know.
Shabbat
Yeah.
Malik, he loves the politics, though.
Yeah,
Probably
you like to
down.
get into the mix?
Yeah, he's what do you call that? Team not red or blue. Team Sickle and Hammer. Is it?
Yeah, that's a
Sickle
good
and
one.
hammer. Yeah, people get nuts over. I don't know. I don't. I have my belief system and my political views, but I'm certainly not going to be PO'd if somebody has another. It's like that's what makes the world interesting.
Like a human being. Look at
you
you.
want everybody to be exactly the same, and what a stale place to live that would be. Like
Oh, yeah.
so, I don't understand this whole and people are. I don't know. It's just my perception. They seem a little more angst and just mad, and if you don't agree with, it's like that's not interesting. Doesn't make good content.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's a big part of doing this too. Is like having authentic conversation.
Yeah.
We could disagree about stuff, and we could talk about it for hours if you'd like.
Yeah.
I'm not
buddy-
here to change anybody's ideas. If I present
Right.
information and you change your mind, that's on
Yeah.
you. That's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, you can't change people. They have to want to.
Exactly.
Like Brian from Relevant are
Hmm?
good friend of mine, also a client, obviously. Lots of extreme different viewpoints, but we can talk about things without, with mutual respect, without getting mad at each other, and yeah. So,
Ghost. Yeah.
the haunting of the.
Exactly.
How old is this building?
1918.
You didn't warn me about this.
Yeah. We didn't know about it. Liz, no worries.
Weird noises.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. So today's guest, Mark Daffron.
Like saffron. It's like saffron with a D. I think it's French.
I would say Daffron.
French. Mostly French, some Irish.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on, man. Thanks for coming in, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Drove a bit to get here too, through some gnarly weather and
Yeah, I live out east in the gorge, east of White Salmon.
east of White Salmon.
Yeah, little town it's directly across from the Dalles. It's basically where the airport is. There's not much going on there. Some houses.
Right on.
We got a convenience store.
Congratulations. Right on.
Yep. Yeah,
Nice, man.
the sticks. Lived out here though. And we kept going farther north to get away from all the people. Ended up in Ridgefield.
Mhm.
And then Ridgefield
Yeah, I'm sorry.
now has a Costco, and I think In-N-Out's on the way. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridgefield turned into bananas, so we were like,
Richfield is
I got to
like
get out of here.
when we first opened the shop, going out to Red Truck Farm. It was nothing but trees and whatnot. I'm like, where the fuck am I going?
Yeah.
Like, return on the MapQuest or whatever. Fucking MapQuest. Shit. Google it if you don't know what MapQuest is.
Yeah, they're still
Yeah,
around.
but now I go out there and it's like, oh, there's no fucking trees and cookie cutter
Dude, yeah.
McMansions and there's Costco and all the things. But
Yeah, we only lived
different
there.
album.
We lived there 2 years. I bought a brand new house, really nice. Big field behind us, and then literally within like 2 months, they just chopped everything down. I'm like, oh, that's where we used to walk. Now we're gonna look at, and then housing developments everywhere. There was a grocery store.
Rose Hours went in first, yeah.
No, that was even before that. It was a little
Oh, before
convenience.
that,
That was a
yeah.
convenience store. It wasn't a grocery store. So
Right.
in 2 years, Rose Hours, Taco Bell, a bank, Starbucks, Mod Pizza, like all this stuff just went and I'm like
High quality
oh.
pizza, too.
Yeah, it's what do I call it?
The best for Richfield.
The tacky manifestation of Western culture, like this tacky homogenized manifestation of Western culture. Like drop yourself into any strip mall like we have all around here, and where is this person? You don't know where they're at. Like it could be anywhere.
Exactly.
It could be Colorado, like Montana, like not. It's visual pollution for me. I'm a designer, so
I like that. Visual.
I think Aaron Draplin, famous designer, coined that term, but
Right on.
truth be told, I've been using that before I heard him say it, but I'm not going to take the credit. He's the man, so.
I can dig it, man. I don't want to get in the habit of summarizing people, so if you can, tell the people who you are and what you do, please.
Yeah, so I run a freelance design business out of the spare bedroom in the old casa. like I said, in the Eastern Gorge. So I don't have a lot of clientele in that area, being it's a smaller metro, not really a metropolitan area, but a smaller area. So I have clients from all over the place. But yeah, freelance graphic design, focusing mostly on brand identity, logo, do some apparel design. Yeah, but the main niche is logo design and brand identity.
Cool.
Yeah. Yep. So I have 2 clients here. 2 main ones are relevant and irrelevant, which you're obviously fans of, friends of, familiar with.
All of the above. Yes.
All the above.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny when I was telling Charlie that I'd listened to one of the episodes with Mitch, just because of the familiarity. Mitch from Relevant Coffee. I know Mitch, so like, oh, I'll listen to that one. Just wanted to get like kind of prepped for the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Then you guys were rapping about, like, you were saying how you had gone into Irrelevant and were looking around going, wow, somebody knew what they were doing. This is well put together. The
Oh, I was
branding.
talking
I'm like,
about it back then?
yeah, and I'm like, oh no, are they gonna name drop? And then I got all excited, like a little schoolboy. Like,
Nice.
oh, this is cool. I was like,
Yeah, man.
I had no idea that he even mentioned that.
Did he end up mentioning it?
Mentioning my name,
Yeah,
mentioning who
good.
I was, and yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, I think I told you that when I went in there, before they were even doing, stuff in the brewery space.
Yeah.
I walked in there and saw the logo in the neon up on the left side, and I stopped and I looked at it for a good hard minute, and I was like, "That's fucking good, man. It's clean."
Thank you. Yeah, it was. Mitch and Sebastian are very receptive to. Well, first of all, they value the design, and they know that they're going to spend a little money. Without. I'll try not to sound pretentious, but
Feel free.
it's not. Yeah, it's not cheap. If you want cheap work, you can go pay a freelancer $1,500 or whatever, and. But they value design, so we don't agree on everything. We went through. I think Mitch, as he mentioned in that particular podcast, that we went through several design revisions, but yeah, it turned out really good, and it's been well received. And like I said, I'm just thankful there are people that are willing to pay for it. I say no, or I hear no, probably I would say 8 out of 10 times. People engage with me like, I want a logo. And you get the whole gamut, like DMs on Instagram where they don't even. That's one of the most annoying things. They don't even they don't introduce themselves. Hey, I'm John, and I run a taco shop. I'd like to, they're just like, how much for a logo? That's literally what they say, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Most of them I don't respond to if they're not
self-selective.
If they can't
Absolutely.
utilize some skills, some tact, I'm just like. Put you in the category of not the right fit, So, yeah, again, not trying to be pretentious, but I've been doing this for 28 years, the same thing, and I have learned that if I try to capture every little low-ball job, I'll be busy, yes, but I'm not making time for the people like Irrelevant Beer and Relevant Coffee who, they're A-list. They're not celebrity A-list clients, like top tier clients. So I now have more time to focus on helping those people build their brands, and so yeah. If I drone on, just throw something at me.
No, it's
Start trailing off.
I mean, dealing with people every day in the pizza shop, there's a certain amount of training your customers that you have to do. I think a big part of my job is educating customers. I've been here, 8.5 years now, whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of that has been done. You can see by the frequency of regular customers.
Right.
But people come, new people come in, and
They're like, why has this pizza got burn spots on it?
stuff like that. And it's like, how come you don't have pineapple and ranch? You get all that same fucking stuff. But like, even the it's smaller than that too. Like the human interaction has changed so much due to whatever you want to fucking call it nowadays. But it's like, hey, how you doing? What can I get for you? And acknowledge you, nothing, may even look at the menu. But it's like, like training a fucking dog. You're like, hello, how are you today? And when they're like, oh,
Yeah.
good. It's like, There we go. We could start now.
I can't deal with the public. I don't know how you do it. That'd be hard. For
I don't.
me.
I try not to. That's why I
Yeah.
got somebody else working the counter most of the time.
Yeah.
But sometimes,
Yeah.
I got to do that role. It's not my favorite thing to do. And, one of the things that I've been leaning more into when people look at the menu or they're a little wishy-washy, it's like, I think I'll have a pepperoni. You think or you know?
Yeah.
Make a fucking decision. The indecision is fucking...
But you don't say it like that, right?
No,
Or
I do. Absolutely.
Oh, you do?
Why the fuck not? Yeah. Yeah. Respectfully. Yeah. A bunch of old ladies. I think I'll have a pepperoni. You think? You know. We can have a conversation about it if you want. People look at you like, that's how I order all the time. Well, you're an asshole. Tell me what you want. We'll have this exchange, and I'll get it to you. If you have questions about it, I can answer them. Mostly menu-specific, life stuff, you're on your own, but maybe I could throw you a curveball and change your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, people, more has been lost to indecision than no decision.
Yeah.
Is that the wrong decision? Excuse me. More has been lost in that. So people come in and like, wishy-washy. I give them the standard spiel. This menu doesn't change. These are additions. You see something on here that you like, get that, because those are going to be available, for the foreseeable future.
I think it's good. I mean, I'm trying to think of the word of kind of your style, like maybe it's not aggressive, but it's kind of like more like we talked about recently, the East Coast kind of.
Yeah.
But that's cool because that's part of not to turn you into a mascot, but that's kind of the vibe of the shop. Like places get familiar, that's brand. It's not your logo. It's not a visual identity system. If you have a visual identity system, it's not your color palette. It's people's gut reaction about your business. And some people,
Their reaction.
yeah, how they
So it has
feel
nothing-
about your.
It has nothing to do with me.
Well, I mean,
It's how they respond
you're
or
a
react to it.
transmission for that. You're like conduit. But like my case, like I'm really reserved, and I got PTSD because people tried to blow me up in the military, so terrorists, and that freaked the living crap out of me. So I am to this day, like, I'll come in and and you're really like a force, right? And I'm gonna be like that guy hates my guts, and I'm leaving. So just something to. I want, like, I'm vibing. I love the pizza. I love all of it, but I'm like, I don't feel safe. So
Is that a me thing or is that a you thing?
it's me, right? But again, we can be conduits of. So anyway, I'm not trying to tell you how.
No,
to,
keep going. Keep going.
I'm like,
That's good.
but you're kind of you're part of the brand, and that's a great thing. And I would never want if I was like you were my client, I would encourage. We don't want to lose this kind of like this thing, this edge. This sharpness, this kind of East Coast kind of,
whatever
you know what I mean?
whatever brand you want to put on it.
But like have other people in place too that are more like thrive on, like my wife is like, she is the best customer service. Like, I mean, I don't know how she does it.
Dealing with people is the most difficult part.
Yeah, she's in the public, and people call her names. They treat her like garbage, and I'm like, can't you ban them from shopping in the store? She works at Home Depot. She's like one of the head cashier, and yeah, we can. And it's just the amount of stuff that people say. I'm just horrified, and
It's terrible.
for no reason at all. She's like the nicest
Absolutely.
person, and I'm not being biased. Like
Yeah.
people go out, like, yeah. Anyway. So, but it bothers her, but she can let it roll off, and not me. I'm like, oh, I hate my life. They hate me. Something's wrong with me. I got to go hide. I was a server at the Olive Garden, and I started out as a bus boy, and then I'm serving, and I'm making good tips. I'm like, oh, this place is, this was back in the heyday of the Olive Garden when it was super good and popular. Well, I wouldn't say. Let me retract that. It wasn't good, but it was busy, and it was like the thing, and I got sick of being assaulted by the customers. Like, one lady was like, "This fettuccine tastes like someone's foot," and I'm just literally about ready to say, "Have you been gnawing on somebody's foot lately? Like, tell me about it. Like, how do you, And I went back to the boss, and I'm like, "Make me a busboy again." And they're like, well, "Are you crazy?" And I'm like, I was like 30 years old, and I'm like, "No, I want to be a busboy. I can't deal with this anymore." Are you sure you want to do this? Like, yeah, I don't want to talk to people. I want to.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was.
You set a line. That's good.
Yeah, I'm not a front. I'm the behind the back of the house. But that, like, going back to like the business, yeah, like you can still flourish. You could be the idea guy. You probably are, like the creating the content, thinking about the things, like the big picture, the big plan, and then you can leverage your skills and have people like you're doing already, you know, helping out.
I mean,
It's a
there.
dance.
Yeah,
It's a dance.
It is. Speaking on that, just when I was leaving yesterday, I was down here doing some work, and Matt and Lisa were upstairs. It was before Avery came in, so before 5 o'clock. Maybe 3, 4 o'clock I left. Mildly busy service. You know, and I check in with people before I leave. Hey, I'm going. You guys need anything? And Lisa just looked at me and she was like, can I have a hug? Absolutely.
Nice.
Gave her a hug. I felt the... I was like, what's up? She's like, people suck. I was like, no, she didn't say that. She's like, some people are so mean.
Yeah.
And I said, they always will be. And that has nothing to fucking do with you.
Yep.
You know? This is...
It's hard.
You know, there's 2 people working up there, and one of them is crying, and I'm hugging them because people are so fucking mean.
Yep.
Lisa is a fucking sweetheart. She's East Coast. She could be a little like me in a certain way, however you describe me. You know, we'll call it East Coast.
Assertive, yeah. Just
Assertive. You know?
Not shy, yeah.
She's, 5 foot tall, a woman. So if I say, hey, go fuck yourself, you can't sit there, they're going to be like, oh my God, we're going away. If she says it, they're going to give her shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the thing she brought up to me. She's like, when you say something, they fucking listen to you. When I say the same thing, they don't listen to me. I'm like, my apologies, tell them to go fuck themselves. Or point to the wall and tell them to leave. You have that authority. Be your authentic self. So here she is. She's like, people can be so mean. And I was like, they always are going to be, and it has nothing to do with you. You're not going to change that.
Yeah.
You can only change how you respond or react to it. I would suggest responding and not reacting to it. Don't fucking, I'm going to say don't, I'm going to put absolutes on it, but, meet their fucking energy at her.
Right.
Sit back for a second. Maybe don't even fucking say anything. Just look at them.
Yeah.
Wait for them to cry.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
tough
narrative
because
changes.
you could be having a bad day as whatever service or job you're in, and customers don't know that, and same thing, customers could, I don't know. I'm just old school, like Nordstrom service. Like, I'm old school. Like, you don't need to be a doormat, but if I had a business, I think I would be looking for guests to have an experience and not a transaction. I don't even care if it's a $10 plate. Doesn't matter to me, because I'm really into the whole, again, the brand thing. I like being the architect of experience. Like, if I was a DJ, I think it'd be dope to be up there being the architect of the whole, controlling the room with, or if it's making tacos or burgers or pizza, whatever. Like, it's fun to control that experience. Not from a weird, like, control freak thing, but just watching people's interaction with it. One of the coolest things, if I'm sitting at a client's business, like, oftentimes I'm at Relevant, and I'll watch people come in and touch the merch and look at it and buy it. And I don't get, like, some sort of ego stroke for that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool to watch how people, even on, like, social media, I commented on something and they replied back with some positive messaging. I can't remember, emojis or whatever, but they used the emoji, the little detective guy, my logo, which people might not, well, obviously they don't know what it is, but
Yeah, we can pull it up.
I forgot to bring stickers for you guys. Sorry about that.
It's time.
But the logo's like a little Catch Me If You Can, kind of old school 60s graphic, like detective.
Like the Crime Watcher type thing, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's a little emoji, a detective emoji on the iPhone. I didn't know that. So they put that and a piece of pizza, and I was like, that's so clever. That's somebody interacting with my brand, how they interpret it. Just something simple, nothing groundbreaking, but I sent out stickers. I made some hot sauce, and I didn't make it. There's a company, and I had it white labeled. I made a custom label for the hot sauce.
Right
And
on.
Secret Pizza, and it said, like, make brands, Secret Pizza Design Co., make brands hot again, and like this sauce makes brands hot, just like kind of a novelty thing for Christmas, and passed them out, and people would get the gifts and then put them online, and almost everybody was like, you know, using music that was like from that genre, the 60s, like like the, what is that?
Pink Panther.
Yeah, Pink Panther, that along that. I sound ignorant right now. Stumbling over.
No, you got it.
Edit that out. That genre, and it was like, this is so cool because they get it. Like, obviously the visual cue is there with the, but a lot of people don't get it, you know. And a lot of these people were getting it, and it was just cool to see how they were interacting with the brand. You know, even though I'm not a giant corporation or some product that you buy, like, but I still consider what I'm, you know, my identity as a brand.
Interesting.
And that kind of stuff fires me up, like, you know, like what you come in here, you an established aesthetic, black and white with these doodles. That's really cool. The whole thing. I was telling these gentlemen, for those out there in podcast land, using the restroom before I came down here, and the little hand-drawn graphic that says employees must wash hands, and there's a hand coming out of a clawfoot type bathtub, and it says, but you should too. I mean, that's just cheeky.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people that run small businesses, this is 90% of them, in my opinion, would just put some placard they got at freaking Staples that says, employees must wash hands.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what? That's not fun. There's no personality in that.
Exactly.
Your brand is living and breathing, and it takes different shapes, and like, that's why so many businesses fail, in my opinion. They just shoot themselves in the foot with stuff like that. Like, they don't invest in branding. They don't invest in any. They just throw up a banner or whatever. Like, there's a pizza shop where I'm from, and no signage for like a month. Just opened up with nothing, stickers or paper, 8.5 by 11. We're open, you know. And I'm like, that's not how you do it, man.
I mean, having done it, I mean, sometimes you got to do it like that. It's like, hey, we need revenue now. You know, I've seen plenty of places, you know, do all the merch and everything before they open, and then they open and they're sitting on $3,000 worth of merch when that can be used as cash flow to generate more revenue and get the merch maybe later. You know, go to Goodwill and see how many stores is like, oh, there's 1,000 shirts from XYZ because maybe they spent money on this and something else.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole matrix to it and everything like that. Alas, you know, things done with attention and intention. You know, if you ain't got the time or the zhuzh to make a hand-drawn sign, or don't have the money to pay for that, you know, and you got to photocopy one. From my perspective, being a cook, you know, making just a dope fucking product, you can serve it in a fucking dumpster and people are going to come eat it.
Yeah, they'll find you if it's...
Exactly.
Word will travel.
Build it and they will come. Exactly.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like, you bring up a good point. Like when people pay me to design a logo for them or do a brand identity system, you know, I mean, a lot of creative people battle with imposter syndrome, and some of that creeps in. And I'm like, I can't believe these people want to pay me this much money, you know, and it's a lot of money. And for a small business, that's a big chunk to bite off. Like, and, you know, yeah, they got to buy equipment. If they're a brewery, they need to spend a obscene amount of money on tanks and all this, a lot of money. And, but yeah, I think I would push, and this is just my opinion, push for at least a well thought out logo and identity, because that's, you know, nobody has equity when you first open up. There's no equity in your name. There's no equity. I mean, I'm talking about if you don't have a reputation, you're just fresh start. Like, I'm Mark, and I want to open a pizza shop, and nobody knows me from Adam, and you know, so there's no equity in what I'm doing. There's no brand. There's no history. There's no. So that first hit, and when they see your logo, is like a barrier to. Like, that's that first barrier to get over. Like, it's going to leave an impression, like it did on you with Irrelevant, you know. I think the Oregonian did a piece on when they did the soft opening, and whoever wrote the article specifically mentioned the branding. Like,
nice.
you don't see that a lot. Like, and
that's good.
They may have paid a lot of money, but the amount of money that's going to make them exponentially year after year. So it's really a bargain.
Agreed. It's going to be on cans and merch, and it's going to be all over the country.
Yeah. So I have to remind myself of that even this day, as long as I've been doing it, that, oh, yeah, I feel sick to my stomach sometimes.
Good.
And I'm not just like, oh, I'm just going to charge, 10 grand because I'm cool, I'm like, no, I know how hard it is for businesses to come up with that money. And, but yeah, I have to remind myself, they're a barrier to entry. Like, this is going to, not a barrier to entry. It's going to make a huge impact from perceived value, when people first stumble upon it. And that right there is that first touch point with the brand. Like, what's the sign on the door? What's the sign above the building? I've had tons of people like, well, I've already spent $200,000 on equipment for my business, and I like what I see on your Instagram or your website, and why don't you can you just come up with some concepts, and if I like it, I'll buy them, and I'll even pay you for sketches. And like, I'm like,
That's not how it
I
works.
just tell them no. I'm like,
Yeah.
You said you like what you see, so that you trust what you see, and I've got a lot of logos published in books that carry some validity. Some of them on the cover of books, logo books specifically for like creative people to
Nice.
use as inspiration. Like, with that comes a certain, you can add some more money onto that because of experience or case studies. Hey, their merch wasn't moving. The client was like, we don't sell T-shirts. They're garbage. They just don't sell. Nobody. I'm like, well, they're not selling because they're not good. Can I speak frankly? And like, oh yeah, and they're not good. And then I'll tell you what, just to help you along, I'll pay for all the T-shirts to get printed. I'll pay for everything, right? And there's no risk for you because I know it's going to work. And then 10 years later, they're selling the same T-shirt design, hand over fist, like tourist spot, like just nonstop, money. It's like, I don't know where I was going with that, but like, I have no idea. I lost my
That was good.
interesting conversation, but I don't know what else.
Putting your work, putting your money where your mouth is.
Oh,
it's like, hey, I'm going to change this, and I'm going to put my money up front.
Yeah.
And change this, and you're going to see the effects of it.
Yeah,
and
we're
it's going to
talking
be
about-
better for your business.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. We were talking
No,
about
you're good.
now I remembered whether or not you had stepped out, Charlie, whether or not to invest because of the struggle of starting a business up. A lot of people can't afford to hang a fancy sign or spend a bunch of money on branding. Like, but yeah, so bare minimum, some vinyl on the window. That's really cheap. That's totally affordable.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. Hire a designer. If I was doing your branding, like, back in the day when you started, I'd be like, Joey, let's do this for some pizza, man. Maybe some cash and some pizza. I'm not nervous about the cash right now. Just flow me some pie, And I've got lots of work with free Traegers. I still have this Traeger that's like, I don't even know. It's the first generation. It's got to be
OG.
16. It's really old. And it's still going, man.
Yeah, man.
I've replaced one thing, this little thing called the Hot Rod. It's like $35, but I traded that thing straight up for a logo a long time ago. And I've had construction work done. The IRS is queuing in now. They're like, oh, let's get this guy on lockdown.
Checking your paper. Nobody works there anymore. It'll be fine.
Don't say any names. We're good.
Exactly. Just say,
Did they just lay off a bunch of people?
Exactly.
that's what I mean. Nobody works there. It's all AI.
So I'm like, am I going to have to pay my taxes this year? Are we going to have an IRS?
Didn't Elon Musk cancel the... I don't know.
He
Yeah,
said-
we're all getting $5,000 checks.
Yeah,
or something
exactly.
like
Right on.
that. Yeesh. Good luck with that.
I'll pay my truck off. I'm almost there.
Congratulations.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, so I'm always championing, going to be the champion for spending the money on design. I don't know. I look at it like, again, like this pizza shop I'm thinking of in my local. And he's a friend of mine, and, but he's kind of a part owner. He's not the money guy, so he can't make any decisions. And, but there's things you can do without spending money, like the tables, there's cardboard stuck under the tables because they're wobbly, and like there's a power switch. What is it called?
Like a breaker box?
Yeah, it's on the wall right next to where people can sit, like, and it doesn't have a cover on it. I'm sure that's illegal, or, you know, and just little tiny. There's stuff getting ready to fall on from the ceiling, like big pieces of paint getting just hanging. And I'm like, these are not expensive things to fix, but like in my mind, I can't get past that. And I know I'm speaking from a like super like, you know, laser focused creative design. Like I have OCD as well, so that doesn't help. But like that's all part of guest experience. Like that tells me I don't care about you. That's just my opinion. It's but then again, as I say that, and I watch
my product's really good. If that light bulb's out, does it make a difference to you?
Yeah. See, this is where I lean a little bit too much. This is why I need people
That's
like
okay.
yourself to like bring me back down to, you know, that's why I don't trust myself. So I get a lot of it. Like my wife helps me a lot. Like, hey, I'm seeing this. What do you think? She's like, no, you need to like what you're talking me off the ledge here.
I mean, your point is valid and
Yeah.
super good. You know, if you're going to a shop and you really like their product, is it going to stop you from going back because a light bulb was out or
No.
because there was a piece of paint? Our ceiling's been leaking for over a year. And you'll go up there and see it. You'll feel it when we're making pies and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's not my job to fix it. It's part of my lease that they take care of the roof and the fucking ceiling and the damage done from it. They haven't done it. Is it visible? Yes. Does it fucking suck? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it going to stop people from coming in? Maybe some. If they want to have a conversation about it, we totally can.
Yeah.
That's what it is, you know?
That's an example right there. Right here live on the podcast.
Yeah.
I get a little, what's the word? Maybe enthusiastic about stuff like this. Like I'm reading a book right now. I forget the Will Guidara or some Unreasonable Hospitality.
Oh, what's his name? EMP guy.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I knew you're well read. That book is a great book.
Interesting perspective, too, because
Yeah.
they operate at a level that is almost unachievable for most people. But getting that perspective of
Correct.
here it is at the absolute fucking highest level.
Yeah.
Here are some things you can take away from it, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because to the point of what I'm just talking about, like I tend to like head in the clouds. Like I live in that like Michelin star world, like, you know, and it's not reality a lot of the times.
It is
So
for
I
some, yeah.
I like to read that to gain perspective, but what I sometimes forget is like I have to bring that down to reality and run it through the filter of like not every client's going to pay you $20,000 to do their brand identity. You know, these a lot of small businesses or not everybody's going to be able to afford the sign you think they should have, the channel lit fancy sign that costs $10,000 or whatever. So let's help them get some vinyl. You know, let's be a solution. You know,
That's a great
and I don't also want to imply that that I'm not approachable and people can't come to me for, you know, I'm just championing for the best, but sometimes you
Yeah.
got to be realistic, you know?
Shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you
Yeah.
hit the moon, and you're fucking good to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but anyway, good book. Yeah.
I mean, when I tell people about our food here, too, buy the best ingredients we could afford. Is it the
Yeah.
ultimate highest level of things? Not all the time.
Right.
Because I can't charge enough to make that back.
Yeah.
But I buy the best that we can afford that fits into what it is and what works for us.
Yeah.
You know, and then I can go on a soliloquy about most of the products here. But, you know, are we going to buy foie gras and truffles? No. Because I'm not going to be able. I mean, have we? Yes, we've done foie gras terrine and a couple different things, and
Wow.
we get truffles every once in a while, and yeah, we'll do that stuff. Am I going to make any money on it? Probably not, because I can't charge. Could I? Some people do.
I think you could. I think you
But
should.
do I want to though?
Yeah, you have to want to.
I
yeah.
want it to be accessible to people. It's fucking pizza. It's street
Yeah.
food. It should be, you know?
Yeah.
That's where it came from. But yeah, you know, buying the best tomatoes that we can afford, buying the best mozzarella that we can afford, buying the best flour that we can afford. Could I buy that $50 bag of Caputo, you know, purple bag, the Nuovo, whatever they fucking call it nowadays,
Yeah.
the purple bag that's grown in America and flown to Italy and flown back?
Yeah.
Could we do that? Absolutely. The fucking local flour, is that just as good? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can make them side by side, and somebody could try and point out the differences. It is what it is. But that's my philosophy, and that's what I stick to. And I, being a cook and food focused, I would rather funnel the cash into that as opposed to, you know, hey, here's our channel backlit sign or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That was, he
Yeah.
said, yeah. Would that be helpful? Probably. Is the cash flow there for it? Nah, not right now. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, you could. It's just all what you want out of it and what you're trying to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the accessibility aspect, I think, comes through with the way you decorate the space, the way it looks. You know,
Yeah.
it's very down to earth, but not just schlepped together. Like it's thought out
With attention
with
and
intention.
intention. Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Art driven. You can immediately tell when you come in here. Oh, this owner or these people or this group, whoever owns this, is creative into art, has an artistic vibe, you know. But yeah, or you could just be Una Napata, whatever that guy is, the Anthony.
Anthony Mangiata, yeah.
Yeah.
Would have put pizza Napolitana.
This could very easily be that. Like, you know,
He's
if
got a different style of pie.
you could make the space look a little bit more like white tablecloth, high end, you know, but and then same name, got a cool name. You know, have those pizzas that are $20-$25. I don't know what they charge for those, but
I mean, they used to be like 25 across the board back in the day. You ever been to Una Pizza?
no.
So I've been to
You've
the
there?
iteration when it was, I think it was the second joint in New York.
Oh wow.
And, you know, tiny little shotgun style, straight back, ovens in the back. And it was dark. It was, you know, wood tables and not a whole lot. And boom, margarita, marinara. You want something to drink with it? Guy comes up, you want dessert? Yes. And he just walked away. There was no dessert menu. He brought out chocolate and cappuccino, and that was it. That was dessert.
Yeah.
Not cappuccino, fucking
Espresso?
Like, yeah, espresso.
Yeah.
Like a fucking tourist. But yeah, and it was fucking delicious. And Anthony's right there. It's like, hey, Chachi, I make fucking pie too, blah, 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 blah. He's like, I ain't heard of you. I'm like, yeah, good. You know, it's fine. We have a conversation, like, this is that and the other thing. Watching him make pies, he has a very specific style. You know, I would say they're a little bit, you know, that style that got really popular for a while, like the big cornicione on it, the conoto, I think they call it. It means dinghy, like a dinghy you hang off the back of a boat, like the inflatable one, big puffy crust. But he's got a very, stylistically, it is. And he gets fucking top 50 pizza all the time, like top 3. He's probably been top 1 in the country for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, probably. He takes his craft very seriously, you know, and, you know, interviews with him. He's like, I made every fucking pizza in the shop for a long ass time. Probably not anymore. You know, he partnered with some guys and did some other stuff. I think they do gelato and shit like that now. But you're going to UPN. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like having had conversation with him back in the day. I was like, this guy's a G. And he walks the walk, talks the talk.
Yeah.
He don't even talk so much. He was like, here it is. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I do. You know?
That was like Spangler. I think that's his name, Brian Spangler from
A Pizza, right?
Shoals.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Bourdain was there, and he was. I don't know how it's done anymore, but talking about how they would sell out like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it happens.
How do you run a business? Basically, Anthony was saying, and there's other pizza shops down the street, you know. I was just like latched onto that, and I'm like, again, it's just he's being true to himself. Like, I could blow this up and have video games in here and just have another location and do this or that, and he just cares about making this highly crafted product, this pizza that he's making, and so I went and tried it, and then, you know, and I was, wow, this is good pizza, you know. I don't know what his style would be, New Haven / New York, maybe I don't know. I'm not the pizza expert.
Yeah,
You're the,
good pizza.
but
Yeah.
it was good. Yeah, it was really good, and I thought that was cool. I remember back in the day when I was on Facebook, I was probably 12, 13 years ago, and I had pizza at Double Mountain in Hood River, Double Mountain Brewery. Good pizza, same kind of style, and was commenting on it. I had a picture or something, and he piped in and was like, he sent me a DM. It was like 12 o'clock at night or something, and it's like, hey, just, you know, I helped. He mentioned the owners' names and get them going. Like, and I was like, am I talking to Brian from
Nice.
Pizza Shoals? Like, it was just cool, the accessibility, and
Yeah.
why was he up at midnight? Same reason I was. Like, and we're
Obsessed
both
with fucking
nerding out about
Yeah,
pizza.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I love it. Like,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not in the pizza business, but there's pizza in my name. Dang it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think any business worth their salt, even pizza or food or anything like that. I mean, back in the day when I first started cooking, over 20 years ago now, it was very competitive. Your ice machine breaks, you go across the street. It's like, hey, can we get some ice? Hey, go fuck yourself. It's like, Now it's a little more, what do they call that? Community over competition
Yeah.
type thing.
Yep.
I mean, with the internet and everything is so accessible. People are like, I bet you don't fucking give out your dough recipe. And I'm like, it's right there on the wall. Write it down and do it.
Yeah.
I'll give you some starter. Good
Yeah,
luck.
there you go.
I
Yeah.
hope you make $1 million.
Yeah.
Or make good pizza at home. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, there's only one you.
You got to go do Chinatown. It's a real fucking scene down there. But he came in, did our thing, and he was like, I do a lot of restaurants around town. Yours is hands
Right
down
on.
the fucking cleanest. So I was like,
That's awesome.
I take that,
Yeah.
your fucking burger's great, or your fried chicken's awesome. It's
Yeah.
on a fucking cover of a magazine. This guy being like, your shit's fucking good. I'm like, I
Yeah,
take that as a
that's
big
awesome.
fucking thing. And that's,
Yeah,
our place is 100% visible. It's like you can
Right.
see all the stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. Does that trip you out when you're making pizzas? It doesn't bother you?
What?
People watching you make?
I don't give a fuck.
No. Oh, man, I'd be paranoid, dude.
Why?
Be like, where's the shield? Where do I hide? Put up
What's
a
there-
wall or something.
What's there to hide?
Put me in the back. Because I'm like, I have lots of anxiety and the whole PTSD thing. Like, I'm not trying to like ride this wave of like, oh, feel sorry for me. Like sometimes I'm standing in line. I bought the product. I've got it off the shelf. I'm standing in the checkout line. People are stacking up behind me. I just start sweating, and I can just feel myself having a meltdown. And I do not like people standing behind me, and I'll freaking go back, put it on the shelf, and walk away.
least
And,
you-
and then I walk out and I go, "This is so stupid. You're right there. You could have just bought it. Deal with it and go get it. Now you got to go back."
I mean,
and I have.
do you want to go through that, though? I mean, that's the thing.
It's some days are better than others.
Welcome to life. You made
Yeah,
it.
I find that I self-medicate with cycling. I get out and ride my
Exercise
road.
is great,
I got
yeah.
all kinds of bikes. I got a garage full of bikes: mountain bike, road bike, gravel bike. Get out on my bike,
Bikes.
right, 15 or 20 miles, and yeah, that's one of my merch shirts. I'm gonna do Art Bikes Pizza,
Nice.
just some block text, and yeah, all kinds of little weird things like that.
It's not weird. It's
Grocery
pretty common
store.
thing. Yeah.
Especially out here, it's like where I live. It's just everybody's just moving. Out here, everybody's like, they're all like, you go to Costco or you go to. I was just at Winco before I got here. Got some bulk steel oats for my wife. We don't have that bulk shopping where I live.
Right on.
So anyway, but just like everybody knows where they're going and what they're doing, and I'm
It appears
like
that
the
way,
bumpkin
maybe.
from. I used to live in the city, but I'm like, oh wow, okay, and just feel like everybody's just kind of. I'm like, I got to get out of here, man. This place.
This is city?
Huh?
How you going to make it in New York?
I know.
It's all right. I'll hold your hand.
I think I did better when I went to New York. I've been there several times. It was with people that were local, so it was kind of made me feel comfortable. If I was like there with my wife or something, or by myself, I'd be just panicked. But I always had somebody that was seasoned local,
Sherpa.
like the tour guy. Yeah,
It's all right. Don't go down that street.
yeah.
Why not?
No, it was.
Fuck yourself. Don't go down there.
That was a trip. I liked it. That was. I don't remember when that was. I think I stood on top of the. We went on top of the. What is it? The Trade Center? Yeah.
New
Twin
one?
Towers.
Old one?
Old ones, yeah.
Old ones, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did all the touristy things. Went to Ellis Island and. Yeah, that was cool. I'm glad I got to live back there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of culture back there, a lot of history, and it's a whole different vibe. And I'm glad that I got to experience all that, and not just Newport, Rhode Island's kind of a touristy Ritz, kind of a sailing yacht club kind of town. But yeah, having friends that were all around the East Coast and getting to travel, and then. That was when my wife and I were young, before we had kids and had some money. We go up to like a bed and breakfast in Vermont, and
Ooh.
just did all kinds of cool stuff.
Aristocracy.
Huh?
Look at you.
Yeah, right.
Fancy.
We didn't go to the Hamptons now. Come on.
Right on.
We were driving a Nissan Sentra, so if that tells you any.
Let's go up and get a B&B in Vermont. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Hey, Buffy, let's go to Vermont.
Yeah. I'm off, eh? Let's get Hunter and Brittany, and let's get in the Rover and go on up to. Because their names got to be Hunter and Brittany.
Of
That's
course.
I can fucking dig it.
Wilder, bring the car around.
yeah.
Beautiful. You can dig it, man.
Yeah.
What's your root cause of this PTSD? You explore it? I mean, you mentioned trying to get blowed up in the Navy.
Yeah, it was. You can Google it. It was like 1989, Naples, Italy, USO bombing. So we were. There's like a little documentary about it. What's weird is the first time I saw it was like 3.5 years ago. After all this time, and seeing that tripped me out. Like, brought me right back, because this was before the internet. You know,
This ain't no
before.
trigger warning for you. Or
No, it ain't gonna.
Go right on.
That's it right there, 1980. I thought it was 89. My bad.
In Naples. No shit.
Yeah, I was in that building.
You're in that building.
Yeah, in the USO club. So, yeah, we were all in the basement, fortunately. But some people that I was talking to were killed, and if I'd been like, minutes hanging out in front of the shop talking to the local guy selling jewelry, who is no longer with us, he got deleted. It could have been me. So I think about that all the time. Just the whole experience of, you ever seen that movie, The Hurt Locker, when I think it's probably like a Hollywood thing now, but Hurt Locker comes to mind, like explosion, you hear this ringing, like slow motion. That's literally how it is. Yeah. The percussion of that was so gnarly, like just sucked all the air out of, like, I don't even know how to explain it, and like dust everywhere and like ringing and so we're like, everybody's on the captain's like, on the ground, everybody's on the floor, and there was a local dude there, that local Italian guy and he's like ushering us in this back room, and everybody's just freaked, and then, so he ushers up, we go up this stairwell, this back stairwell. We're having like a talent contest. So somehow they found out about it because there was like a poster on the wall or something. That was a mistake. 70% of our crew was there from the boat, from the ship we were on. So they're like, oh, easy target. Put a little car bomb in front of the building. So we go upstairs, and there's like these dudes with ponytails and suits on, and they're waving machine guns. I'd never seen a machine gun before. I'm like, this is like the movies. I'm like, oh, this is it. We're going down. They're rounding us all up. Turns out they were like Italian secret police, telling us, getting us out there. So captain's like, run, haul booty back to the boat. Smoke, things on fire, glass, car blown to pieces. It was gnarly. We were like jumping over cars in traffic, like we get back there to the boat, and we were out of there in like 30 minutes, man, gone. And we got to make one phone call. I called my mom, said, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Because, my wife was actually, we were dating at the time. She is writing me a letter, and she's listening to the radio, like, we interrupt this program to...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And she was like, Mark's in Italy. I hope that's not him. Yeah, it's kind of a trip. So, I talked to like a psychologist about it, and
How'd that go?
it was okay. I mean, I kind of told her, I'm like, well, first I learned that like this stuff can develop later on. I think it did for me. I just kind of like, I was 19 years old. Okay, cool, survived the bomb, no big deal. What's next? Had my youth on my side or whatever, and just problems began to develop. I began to be more and more like shy and reserved, and didn't, want to be around a lot of people. And anyway, she was explaining to me these things can manifest, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really bothered by this. Why did I watched this, I stumbled across this little documentary, and, watched it. And then my daughter and I were like just blown away, and then we watched it again immediately, 2 times in a row. I'm like, if I'm really screwed up, or like, so to speak, why am I watching this? Why am I attracted? Why don't I get freaked out when I watch war movies? And she's like, well, this particular incident watching that documentary, it probably closed the chapter. Like, it's some closure. And I'm like, you know what? I think you're right. Like, So it actually helped me seeing. It was obviously hard, but yeah. So
Yeah, replaying it can be helpful for some. It could also reactivate certain things.
yeah.
From personal experience and listening to you talk about, being hypervigilant when people are behind you and, PTSD and OCD, that is, right in line with a TBI from a blast. Hearing you say like everything slows down, ringing in your ears, you were most likely concussed in some way, shape,
Yeah.
or form. And those symptoms manifesting later on is usually how it goes down. Being in the military, anything from being on the rifle range too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's enough to give you, micro concussions, and they, accumulate over time.
Right.
And certain things that can manifest from that. Yeah, all these things that you, you were talking about control earlier. You say you're not a control freak. Alas, people in that situation, there's like, if I'm not feeling like I'm in control,
Yeah.
then there is a certain other feeling that can come over you.
Yeah.
Ruminating on it, and you said you think about it every day. It would probably be hard not to, a traumatic incident.
Yeah.
Rumination is one as well. And then self-worth, you had mentioned as well. Those are all, you tick all the boxes.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Have you looked into anything with psychedelic therapies? No?
No, I haven't. And
Are
I
you
thought
familiar with them at all? Have you heard about anything happening in the realm of psychedelic therapies?
No.
Specifically for PTSD?
no. I'm pretty straight edge. Like I just don't. I'm not saying like any of these things will work. Yeah, I haven't given it much thought. That's what I was saying, like jokingly, that the biking, the cycling is my, and obviously, there's, you take care of yourself physically. I think you probably work out, and that dopamine and the certain things you get from physical, I get that, as well as like the whole shreddability factor, I guess, with mountain biking. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an old man, but I still rip down the
Yeah.
hill, and my
Shred the
son,
gnar.
I still shred the gnar.
Yeah, man.
My son is 30, I think. Now I'm really dating myself. He hauls balls down that trail. Hitting 30, 35 miles an hour on a piece of single track is hauling balls.
Fuck yeah.
And I am behind him because I like to watch him jump. I'm hitting jumps too, but he's getting higher than me. I can turn on the gas and keep up with him, but not for very long, because I'm like, I'm going to die. I picture myself eating it, and then I can't use my mouse hand anymore. Now I can't so all these things, But there's my poser moment for the podcast.
Not at all.
That releases a whole bunch of just like cool, like, yeah, dude, rip that trail in half, hit this jump, whatever. And I do that on a weekly. Well, not now. The weather's garbage, so I'm on my bike to nowhere in my office. My trainer. That's real fun. But yeah, I'm in Hood River riding all the time, like just out in the mountains. And
So the dopamine hit, you can get it from lots of different stuff. You can take your 5-HTP and get your serotonin rocking and all that stuff. Alas, having explored certain things like this and doing research and, having gone through psychedelic therapies myself, dopamine will help, yes. It is more of a maintenance thing than anything, because when you get done riding that bike and that dopamine hit goes away, there you are, still unhealed. In dealing with the root cause of whatever your symptoms are, that is where true healing will occur. There are many different ways to go about it. We mentioned the psychedelic therapies. We pulled it up on here before, maps.org, maps.org. You can go right in there, put your zip code in there, and it'll pull it up. These people are in your area. And, don't just run and go do it.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm going to have a conversation about it first and look at it. Plenty of vets get relief from it. Sean Ryan talk about it on his podcast. You ever heard of Sean Ryan? He's got a big podcast now, former Special Forces operator, CIA, all the 3-letter agencies and stuff. But, alcoholic, problems with his family, blah, blah, blah. Saw a lot of combat, did a lot of stuff.
Right.
And he was like, I did this Ibogaine and I am fucking healed.
Is it like medically prescribed?
So
Like-
I'm not sure what the decriminalization or legality of it is in Oregon and Washington nowadays. One of the podcasts, maybe you should listen to it too. Lundy Ramos was on here. She is on the board in Colorado and Oregon for psychedelics, also restaurant too. It was a
wow.
good conversation. But there's certain places where it is legal. Ibogaine, I don't think you can do that one in the States. I think you got to go like Panama or fucking Mexico or something like that. So Ibogaine is a non-addictive substance.
Huh.
You know, it's one of those things. It's like you'll do it and be like, I don't ever want to fucking do that again. But many people, I think after one treatment, it's like over 80% healed, done, no more fucking trauma. Sean Ryan has a great thing. One of his homies walked with a cane, couldn't have sex with his wife anymore, was just in a place. Did the Ibogaine. I think he did the 5-MeO after it, like the frog venom one, and got done. No more cane. Calls up Sean and was like, I just did my wife last night for the first time in fucking 10 years.
No more.
Healed. Not just
Wow.
like, oh, it's still there and I can mitigate it. Fucking healed. My situation was coming to it. I was listening to the Rogan podcast, and it was a doctor and a SF guy who had these symptoms, and they were listing them off. I'm sitting there fucking rolling dough, and I'm like, I'm not military or anything like that, but he's going through his symptoms, and I'm like, ticking off all these fucking boxes. I was like, Went to the website. It was for vets only type thing. I filled out the whole form, and they were like, it's specifically for vets. Here are some other things you could fucking try. Read that book by Michael Pollan. Have you read any of his stuff?
In Defense of Food?
He's done that whole series on food. I think he did other stuff in the past, but one of his more recent ones is How to Change Your Mind. It's on Netflix now, too.
Huh.
Yeah. You can
I
listen
thought
to
he was
it on
only doing,
an
like,
audiobook and whatnot. But he goes
food-related.
through. Yeah, he did like
Fast Food Nation, I think.
he did a bunch of his. That's not Michael Pollan. That's his brother, Steve. Yeah, How to Change Your Mind, right there.
He also did This Is Your Mind on Plants. It's a really good one, too.
Yep, this is
It's
Mind on
Steve
Plants.
then? Not it's his brother?
I was goofing. That was
Oh.
yeah. This is your Mind on Plants. Yeah, it's like focus
right.
on coffee and tobacco and other things.
And mescaline.
He's got a
mescaline.
saying like, eat, which kind of stuck to me, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty,
I mean, if you could tolerate plants too, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Other people
Yep.
go in different directions.
Right.
Anyway, listening to his book or reading his book, he was like, all right, in this chapter, I'm going to do this ceremony, and this one, I'm going to do this one. And he goes through them. I think one of them is in Oregon, actually, when he did the mushroom dose, because some of the strongest psychedelic mushrooms in the world grow at like the mouth of the Columbia River. Psilocybe azurescens, I believe. Yeah, so he's in the woods fucking tripping with this guy, boom, and had his situation.
Weird.
But yeah, doing all the research and having conversations and whatnot, I ticked all these boxes. I was like, I'm gonna go try it. And I went to these people and like, you are not ready for mushrooms. I was like, okay, what do you suggest? And they were like, this. I'm like, all right. Bunch of talk therapy, got to know each other, blah, 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 felt safe, did the thing. Boom. Good to go.
yeah.
Lost 70 pounds. I wasn't an alcoholic, but like just a perspective on things. Poured myself, it was 2020. Probably been almost 5 fucking years now. Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Poured myself a beer and was like, I don't even want this. It doesn't serve me. And that was it.
Wow.
The way just how to change your mind.
Right.
100% is what it does. And the healing properties that come from it, looking at, hey, I was in this traumatic experience, but it doesn't define me. I am more than this, One of the big
Yeah.
things that came out of for me was like, hey, I go walking down the street, hey, pizza guy, you're the pizza man. And I was in there in my session, and I'm like, talking about pizza man. I'm like, I'm so much more than a pizza man. I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. I'm all of these things. I'm a whole, complete person. I'm not defined by what fucking happened to me. I'm not defined by what I'm doing right now. I'm a
Yeah.
human walking through the world, doing
Right.
the best I can, helping people along the way.
Yeah.
So it's proven beneficial. I'll hook you up with the link to Deshaun Ryan stuff when he talked about it. Rogan talks about it a lot. But it's accessible locally too. I mean, I saw a fucking billboard for ketamine clinics nowadays. Ketamine, you familiar with that one?
Heard of the name.
Yeah, it's Special K they used to call it back in the day.
Horse tranquilizer.
Horse tranquilizer. Yeah, go fuck yourself. It's a dissociative. They use it in Battlefield a lot instead of fucking morphine. You know, your leg could be fucking. You've seen the guys like on a soccer pitch that fucking like had an injury or something, and they give them the whistle, the ketamine whistle.
Is that what it is? Okay.
They do that, and they're like. For 30 seconds, and you're not feeling fucking nothing because you're dissociating, which is a natural thing that can happen when you get in a fucking traumatic situation. Alas, in these scheduled ketamine sessions, you go in there with intention and something to work on specifically, and you dissociate and you see things from a different perspective. Maybe even from like up here, and here it is down here. I'm like, oh, that's not even me. I'm not even fucking there. It's a
That's
healing
like
situation.
opening up your. I don't know, man. I don't know.
You don't know?
I mean, I'm afraid. I'll be like.
I do.
I never took
do.
drugs, like growing up, because I was too afraid. I mean, I smoked weed back in the day. But
Yeah, that counts.
I was too afraid. I would do some hit, and I would just be ruined, like turn into some like have an episode, never come bad trip or whatever.
You said that when you first came in here. I was like, you want some acid? You're like, I don't want to. Maybe I won't come back. Or maybe the place you're at then will be this totally different space where you see everything. You've touched the center of the universe.
To this day, I still would be just too,
it's scary.
And
That's where healing happens.
Yeah, well, another thing that
towards
also helps me is I'm not going to wax religious, but my faith is really strong. Like,
absolutely,
I go to church. I was at church this morning. Like,
congratulations.
I was like, man, am I going to go to church and be able to make the podcast? I want to go to the podcast. Like, so having a very strong community there in this really rad church in Hood River, and you know, it's not for everybody. I know that, but yeah, that has really. Again, though, like I was just talking to the pastor today, like, because too many people, I think, do a lot of harm with, like, quote unquote Christianity, and like, well, you got the Bible, you got Jesus, you got this, you know, you shouldn't be. No, I was like talking to my, you know, I'm like telling my pastor, like, I'm a devout Christian guy, but like, I got real problems. I got PTSD, you know, and he's like, yeah, there's, you know, like, so anyway, yeah, it's like. And some people say, oh, you know, that's just a crutch. You know, I don't need that. It's just a crutch. You know, your faith or your Christianity or whatever. You know, you're a loser. You know, this is a crutch. You know, I've heard it all. Yeah. You know, but
exactly, yeah.
Is it a crutch or is it a support network? And
yeah, it's so much.
Yeah,
it's real for me. Like, you know, it's not just some religion I'm practicing. You know, so. Yeah, anyway.
It's real for me as well. I mean, my Bible's up there. I do. Yeah. I read the Bible as much as I can. Right. Get on my knees and pray as much as I can. And I'll give you my perspective and the words I use specifically for my experience. There is a creator, yes, God. We'll call him God in this, you know, because in speaking in different spaces, people are like, oh, God. And I'm like,
what is God? Call it. God, what in our postmodern world that we live in?
Exactly. And I would say these words. I was like, in that space, when you touch the center of the universe and realize that everything is fucking connected, I am you and you are me.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Right? And Jesus says it himself. I am within you. I am in you. It's like, we're all connected. I touched it. It's like, hey, we're all one in this, you know? He has given you all the tools. Genesis 1:12, I've given you all the herbs and seeds to use. There's a fucking plant growing right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. I see you. I feel you. I am healed. In the name of Jesus, amen. You know?
Yeah.
If he's given you these tools to use, you know, he can't make you walk through the fire. He can hold your hand while you do it, though, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, even with, you know, like with alcohol, he didn't condemn, Christ in the scriptures didn't condemn alcohol consumption. He condemned drunkenness. And I just would, that's another thing, too. Like, I would, like, I like to think, oh, I could just have a beer and be fine, but I don't even want to go near that. Like, because it was so destructive for me. Like, I drank for all the wrong reasons, you know?
Interesting.
Like, not why I like the taste of it, but same thing. I was like 280. I was just a tanker, and diabetes, like just high blood pressure, like just it wasn't good health wise.
Yeah.
I never felt good. I was lazy, unmotivated. But anyway, it destroyed my family. Like,
It can. Yeah.
I've been married for a long time, 30 plus years, and
Congratulations.
we were on. Yeah, thank you. We were on the fritz. Like, kids were like, "Get rid of Dad. He's a loser." It was a serious, messed up situation. So, yeah,
I understand.
there's been some reconciliation in our marriage, and
Beautiful.
without getting too personal, but yeah, I'm glad that's in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And even that's in the rearview mirror. You went through these difficult times. You suffered. You healed. You learned. You pushed through it. If arduous times come again, you have those tools that you know how to use now to overcome those times. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I had from certain things. Is like, oh, I am familiar with the taste of gun oil and cold steel. So
right.
I overcame that. I have the tools now to not only recognize it, but get myself out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I was having a conversation recently. I was like, man, I hurt myself. I'm not really working out a lot. I'm sleeping a lot. I'm like, I was saying it out loud to somebody. I was like, oh, I'm fucking depressed.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of depression.
Yep.
Went home, cleaned my space, got on the fucking mats, did it till I couldn't do it anymore, ate healthy food, got fucking 10 hours of sleep. Done skis. I'm good.
And I find it's harder as I get older. Like, I'm getting
Yeah.
older, and
It is fucking hard.
like, even though I routinely ride my bike, and I'm talking about when it's like, I'll start this in like April, the weather will start turning, the trails aren't muddy, and force myself to get the truck loaded, get the bike on the back of the truck, get all the gear, and then get up there and suffer all the way up the mountain. It's just like, what am I doing?
Yes.
Feel like you're going to throw up. And then I rip down the hill. I go get my post-ride burrito and coffee. It's like a traditional thing I do every time. And I'm like, I feel like $1 million.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It's crazy what
Leaning into the discomfort.
some sort of physical, but the amount of discipline it takes. Like, I think that can be, it's applicable to a lot of things, like creating content. Man, there's a lot of people. I think Chris Doe, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a pretty famous designer, content creator. Got a couple million followers on YouTube, but I don't know if he was saying or if he was referencing a book, but I think he was talking to a YouTuber, really famous YouTuber, but you'll start out and you'll get some traction, a video will go viral or something. Like for me recently, I had Uni Pizza Ovens reposted a cheesy little 5-second reel I
That you
posted.
did?
Yeah, and they
Oh,
put
that's
on,
beautiful.
and I'm like, wow, from them doing that, I got followers, and they got 6,500 views, which to me that's a ton.
That's a shit ton, yeah.
I don't have a lot of followers, and
And they sold
yeah, and it
free
was,
ovens.
yeah, probably, yeah, like we're free.
Exactly.
They're like, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Where am I going with this? Oh, but like, so yeah, I mean, that's a bad example, but somebody like,
No,
let's say you post a reel and it gets 1 million views. You get a certain amount of a dopamine hit from that. It's like, oh, this is pretty cool. And
Don't even check it.
well, I mean, okay, let's say that you're a different person, different
Yeah,
pizza
right.
shop, and they get and they're stoked and it's dopamine hit, and but then you're like, oh, I got to do more. You keep showing up and you're doing these things, and then they start to not get results, and a lot of people give up right there. You go through that, and you're in the ditch. And he was saying like, or the dip or the ditch, however he was describing it, but like a lot of these great ideas and just go there and they die. It's like a graveyard. It's like you got to keep pushing through that stuff. I don't particularly like having to do stuff on social media. Maybe it's because I'm old school and we existed, like before all this, before cell phones, before, I think it was better. I enjoyed,
Perspective, yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm narrow-minded in this mindset, but like, I went out morel mushroom hunting with my wife's grandpa, and he's like in his 80s, and we're out in this old truck, and we're out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, he's gonna forget where. But he's been doing this for so long. Like, he knew, and he's like, oh, I think it's over there, you know. And we went out, me and my son and him, and just spent the whole day morel mushroom hunting. Got 2 5-gallon buckets, which is
Beautiful.
freaking a haul.
$1,000 was a month.
Yeah, and it was the coolest experience ever. Like, nowadays, kids are just like, oh, let's see some mushroom hunting on Instagram, like, gone. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but, like, I feel like we've gotten away from, everybody wants these, or they'll want to go do something like that for the sheer purpose of, like, putting it on social media or trying to go viral or turn something out of it. Like, not just disconnecting from the grid and being in the moment. And, like, I find, like, I can't remember stuff like I used to because there's so many things that I'm being hit with. Like, whereas before, when you didn't have all these distractions, you would meet with somebody like a pizza master like yourself, and I would just spend 2 hours with you and talk about, and I would walk away with these mental notes, and I wouldn't be, I don't know, I'm kind of rambling on. I'm losing my train of thought, but
you're good.
It seems like all the information is just fragmented and it's constant flow hitting us constantly. And, well, I don't need to remember this. I'll see something similar tomorrow on my reel feed or whatever, or podcast or whatever. It's like, yeah.
I mean, they got a saved button. You could save it.
I know, but it's like, more and more I'm just like,
You got a save button too.
keep my phone and leave it in the other room, or don't take it with me.
Congratulations.
You know, I just, man.
What do they call it? Touching grass, right?
Touch grass, yeah.
Is that, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Disconnecting, go out and make sure you touch grass.
I just pulled this up. This book came out 15 years ago. This guy,
Oh, really?
Nicholas Carr. It's called The Shallows. And I remember I got it from my grandpa because my grandpa was very big early on. Like, oh, Google, like, this is so cool. This repository of information,
Right.
all this stuff. And I got into this book. I'm like, this might interest you. You know, it's kind of talking about, like, we are outsourcing our memories to Google, to the cloud, as it were. And
Yeah.
that's 2010. That's pretty prescient that this guy was like, yeah, people can't remember things because they're just looking it up on Wikipedia, looking it up on Google. And
Right.
I remember one of my relatives, she's like, oh yeah, the internet's making us smarter. And I'm like, well, no, it's just making us so
Reliant.
we have all this information at our fingertips, but that means we don't need it in our heads anymore, you know, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, that's what I was trying to articulate. He did it in a more eloquent way. Yeah, just too much dependency. Like, I don't like all this dependency on the grid, the system. Like, and I don't want to sound like some weird, you know, person that lives in some shack in the mountains in Eastern Washington.
I know plenty of those people.
But, like, I don't know, man. It's like too many eggs in one basket. Where's the redundancy? You know,
Redundant.
like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I got stuff at home. I know how to make a rocket stove, and I got plenty of trees in my half-acre property I live on. I can fire something up with twigs and be able to eat. I got cast iron pans, and I mean, might last a week longer than the neighbors. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like,
Or
it's just-
you may have that stuff and they have other stuff, and you can come together and be community. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'll do this and you do that. You
Yeah,
stay
it's-
up there and be on Overwatch while we do all this. And
There
make
you
sure
go.
the
Yeah.
wolves don't come a fucking barking.
Right. It's just scary. Like, you know, if the grocery store loses power, like, within 3 days, it's
Fuck
going to...
that grocery store. Know your farmers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, but, like, how many of us are... I'm not there yet. I mean, I've got friends that are just totally, like, armed to the teeth and bunker city, like, bucket loads of freeze-dried food that'll last 20 years. Like, I'm not there, but... or I'm not necessarily going there.
It's good to have friends.
Redundancy. You know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like,
2 is 1, 1 is none.
going back to the biking thing, e-bikes are the thing now. As I'm advancing in age, I used to hate on these e-bikes, these motorized mountain bikes.
So fucking fun.
I was a hater, dude. I'm like, this is a bunch of crap. This is for bros who just want to do laps and hit jumps and just keep doing laps, you know. And so my brother-in-law, God bless him, he gets a fancy e-bike and he brings it out, and it's a size too big for me. I don't have the right kind of shoes to go with these pedals he's got, and the whole thing's a train wreck. And so we're climbing up the steepest trail in the gorge, like just straight up the hill, rocks and everything. And I'm flying up the hill, catching air over little bumps, going uphill. And I'm like, I'm going to full gas this puppy. So I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
But then I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to get in shape. And then I came down off the high, started taking it serious. I turned it down on the lowest power mode. And my son and him are both in way better physical shape than I am. And my heart rate's at 140. I'm checking the old Apple Watch, and I'm like, dude, I'm getting a workout.
Yeah, man.
I'm on an e-bike.
Yeah, man.
I'm sold now. I'm saving my shekels. We're trying to get one, and
Yeah, man.
they're not cheap.
No, they're not
But-
expensive. No.
But again, this thing's got wireless shifting, Bluetooth this, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, but I'm so analog. I'm like, what if the Bluetooth doesn't work, the grid goes out, whatever? Does that mean I can't ride this bike? I don't know. I don't know
Still
enough
pedal it.
about it.
It's 100 fucking pounds, though. It's heavy as shit.
Yeah, they're heavy. This one I'm looking at is 50-pounder. It's a full power e-bike.
Right
They
on.
make lighter ones that look and feel more like a traditional mountain bike, but they have less power, I guess. The motors are a bit smaller, not as long of a range. But anyway, yeah. So I'm being pushed into the.
Right on.
But yeah, But it's funny perspective. Like,
There you go.
yeah, I was just this hard-nosed, old school. Been riding mountain bikes since, oh my gosh, 86? It was a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
Like 10 years prior, they were riding old Schwinn clunkers on Mount Tam in San Francisco. So it wasn't that far away from that era.
Exactly.
But yeah, so no, I'm sold.
They've come a long way.
Technology. I love technology.
Boy, Una Pizza. He's an avid bike rider,
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
I saw a Vimeo. That's when I first learned of him. I saw this really cool video somebody put together of him ripping
Yeah, he gets down.
around the Bay Area, and then
Yeah,
he
man.
goes and makes pizza, and he's got his Vans on, and I'm like, this dude's a cool cat.
Wears his Vans in the kitchen, too.
I know.
Yeah.
I see that, and I'm like, man, my
He's an
knee-
all right dude,
My
man.
knees.
He's an all right dude, man.
Yeah.
They're, one of my favorite pizza joints outside of San Francisco, too. Pico.
Haven't heard of
Bruce
that one.
owns it. All the pizzas are named after mountain bikes. They can get the Cannondale and the
That's
Giant and all that stuff
cool.
like that. Yeah. That's
Dude, I need to put
This
that on my
pie.
destination list.
Yeah, Pico Pizza, good
That's
stuff.
really
Pico
cool.
restaurant too. I don't know if Bruce still runs it, but yeah, it was the first time I had olive oil and salt on ice cream.
Yeah.
So they got the Strauss milk from California, and they had a soft serve machine, and like vanilla or chocolate, and just like McDonald's, the chocolate is not working. But they put olive oil and salt on it. I was like, what in the wide world of sports is this flavor?
Right.
I was like, take 14 of those.
I have not tried that. That sounds- yeah.
Oh, super tasty. We'll do it upstairs. I'll give you some.
Oh, right on, dude. I'm
man.
excited.
That's good.
Saying that about the bike thing, reminded me of the whole, going back to the name Secret Pizza Design Co. So, and the naming of the pizzas. So I'll have a point here. I'll get to my point. But I was working for a company, unexpectedly got laid. I was a friend of mine. Just came out of nowhere. So I'm finding myself with no job. And I'm like, well, I'm a hobbyist pizza maker. I make pizza every weekend. I had this little like old school Uni 3, I don't even know, pellet thing I converted to gas, and makes a little 12-inch Neapolitan style. It's all I had, and it was old. And so I went down to the local, like we call it the chef store where I live, and
Yeah.
got boxes, a little checkered paper, and I'm like, I'm just gonna fly under the radar, and this is gonna be friends and family donation, whatever you think is legit. Here's a suggested donation. Put out a little menu, came up with that little logo, Secret Pizza. Or no, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm like, I'm just gonna see what happens, and I kept, I made good money.
Yeah.
Like, people were loving it. Like, this is the best pizza in the whole area. Like, this is that. And I was like, oh, okay. So every weekend, it was a lot of work, though. That kind of scratched the itch.
Yeah, man.
Like, oh, it'd be so cool. I could just open a pop-up. I could do a pizza business.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
It's work, baby.
It is a ton of prep, a ton of work. And I'm in this kitchen, like, that's not set up as a commercial, my own kitchen. And even though it's for friends and family, that takes some of the pressure off, it was still pressure. So,
Yeah. It means you care. That's good.
yeah. So, and they're all like, I'm putting out these pies and I'm not proud of them. They're like, oh, this is so amazing. I'm like, dude, okay. So And the menu, like all the pizzas were named after my grandkids.
Beautiful.
So like one of them was Maggie, so it was called the Maggie Rita, you know, and
Beautiful.
it was awesome. And they got a kick out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They thought, so it was kind of like this little experiment, lose your job. And I was desperate. Like we had blown through all the savings. My wife had a neck injury. At that time, it was transition, no insurance, so it was out of pocket. Just like, oh. The church community came through and helped us too,
Yeah,
but
it did.
it hurt us financially. So anyway, there wasn't a lot of money to kind of ride on. So we're in this transitionary phase, and I'm like, well, my wife was like, this is not a good idea. Like, it's going to be too hard and too expensive. I'm like, look, after expense, because pizza's, I thought it was pretty cheap, the product, to buy it, and
It can be.
for what you can charge, you know. And long story short, I made a decent amount of money, and I'm like, look, if we can get $300 a month for groceries, that's $300 we didn't have. Like,
Yep.
you know, it'll help. So, and it did help, and it also allowed me to buy the upgrade the oven to the Uni Coda 16, the bigger one, you know.
Nice.
And so yeah. So anyway, I'm like, well, shoot. Now I think I need to. I'm just going to freelance
Yeah.
and start freelancing again. I didn't really want to go into business again for myself, and so I'm like, pizza. This thing's kind of a secret. It's under the radar. Secret Pizza Design Co. That's
Made
where that.
itself.
And then of
Beautiful.
course the image of the little guy with the trench coat. You know,
Yeah.
hey, want to buy a slice? That's how that whole thing. So it's a weird name, but I'm like, you know, these days everything's been done. How are you going to stick out, in, you know, in a saturated?
Yeah. Call it what it is.
Yeah, so I'm like, this
Call
is
a
kind of
spade a
funny.
spade.
People won't get it, but maybe they'll dig it. So far, it's been well received. Yeah.
Cool.
That's the problem with brands when they try to please everybody.
Yeah.
Then you're just watered down. Like,
Watered down.
stay in your.
Watered down.
Yeah.
Watered down.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, man. I can dig it.
But yeah, but it's also a good product. Like they couldn't find anybody to can it in the U.S. What? You want to put water in a can? Like, so they had to go to Europe. I forget where it's.
Austria,
Switzerland
wasn't
or
it?
Austria.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's still to this day made in the same place. They were the only ones willing to do it, and it's a great concept. Like,
Water in a can.
plus you can, going back to the old bomb shelter convo, you can stock your pantry with liquid death water, and
There you go.
you got water to cook with, water to drink.
And reusable aluminum. If you're into that kind of
Ooh, this is good. The root beer
Not bad, right?
wrath. That's a tasty one.
Yeah, the cola, not so much. Yeah. The Dr.
I'm-
Pepper, I think, was the closest one.
I enjoy the Dr. Death.
I'm having a Dr.
I say,
Death
face him to the label up and smile.
with a creepy melting skull on it. Banned in some Christian households.
Some,
But not
some. Not the ones that are thirsty. That's what it is. Just give it the old nah. You're good to go.
What? We blessed it already. Come on, it's good.
Beautiful.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. This week's baptism brought to you by Liquid Death. You're back.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past them.
They should do.
That's something they will do.
Look at
I
that.
bet liquid life. That's like holy water, like blessed water in a can.
Charles. You said that out loud on the internet.
Charles
Sorry.
Wow.
used his Christian name on that one. You must be really.
I like that idea. That's great.
You can pay me liquid death.
Dude, you get all the people that don't like it for the fucking thing, call it Liquid Life. Slightly
thought-
blasphemous, perhaps, but
Something you'd roll out like April Fools or something.
Yeah.
Like, we've received so much negative feedback that we listened, and here's what now we've got Liquid Life,
Charlie, you gotta send him a fucking DM or something.
life in a can.
Send me an email or something, dude. That's fucking good.
Okay, I'll get on that.
I mean, what do I know? I make pizza, but I know a little bit, maybe. It is what it is. Interesting. And we're back. Are we back? We're back.
We've been back. Yep.
We've been
been back.
We've been back. Where you been?
Been back.
right here, right now. Pizza. That's a great segue. Right on. You were talking about pizza. You like pizza, yeah?
Yeah, my like I said, I started out making the Neapolitan.
What does that mean to you?
Well, what you're making, like the soft, tender dough that's leoparding, so it's been charred by the oven, kissed by the oven, but it's not burnt.
Right on.
Minimal ingredients. You don't want to pile a bunch of stuff on. You want it to cook because it's quick cooking in generally 60 to 90 minutes.
90 minutes? Seconds.
Seconds, sorry. Well, yeah, and then the Italians are officially, it's got to be these certain San Marzano tomatoes, all these rules or whatever.
For
but-
Vada Pizza Napolitana, yeah, VPN, yeah.
Right, to be legit with that group. But that's what I would call it, like 00 flour, San Marzano tomatoes, and then kind of whatever else. That's my interpretation of it. But
Right on.
I always liked like a New York style pizza, like I had when I was back in New York. I didn't go to any place fancy, but I don't even remember the names of the places we went. But I'm trying to think of I guess Vinny's would have been
That narrows
similar.
it down.
What's that?
Vinny's in New York? That narrows it down. Oh, you mean like here?
Yeah,
Something
yeah, the
similar to
Vinny's that was
All right. Okay, right on.
Now he's in Portland, right?
I believe so. I don't know if it's still open.
It's the son that now has Vinny's in Portland.
Okay.
And then he sold the one in Ridgefield to Taco Bunny next door. They made it Bunnies. So
Right on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, he bought the old the goat place. What the fuck was it called?
the Go Place.
The Hungry Goat. It was called something. My homie bought it when I first moved here. Blah blah blah. We were both looking at the same space. He wanted to open a restaurant, and he bought it. It was an existing pizza joint called, what the fuck was it called? The Hungry Goat or something like that. I don't know. But then it got sold to somebody else, and then that's the place that Vinny bought. I thought he was going to do some like Italian import thing because he got married, and then they moved over to Sicily or something like that for a little bit, and then they came back, and I heard they were going to do some like Italian specialty import stuff too.
Huh.
But yeah, I'm still making pizza.
I thought his pizza was pretty good. The one in Ridgefield was I thought it was hit or miss in my opinion. A lot of times it would be what Dave Portnoy would call it, football pizza, kind of doughy, bready, but good. So I don't know. I really like that. That's what I'm making now. I'm just mixing bread flour and AP flour and like a 5-minute bake at like 750 degrees, and yeah.
All right.
So it's got some crisp to it, but a nice crust. It's tender but then crunchy. Still, you kind of use minimal ingredients. My go-to is either just a plain pie or I love the little cup and char pepperonis. So
Right on.
Yeah.
What, like Ezzo's or something like that?
no, I'm just getting it. I want to say it's. Can't remember. My wife gets it for us. Just something off like Safeway,
Right on.
Hormel's, or. That's why I was asking you. Like, I don't know where to get a good pepperoni, like a cup and char, like a commercial grade.
I don't use pepperoni.
No, you're
in
using,
Italy, pepperoni is, like the chili flakes. It just means little pepper.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
that's what pepperoni is.
Okay.
Pepperoncini, yeah. What we use currently is Ali brand. It's their Toscano salami.
I took a picture of that. I think when I was here last time. That
They
big
make
old
little
roll.
ones too, yeah. So you
Okay.
can get little ones. They're probably not going to cup though because they don't have like the casing on the outside. But yeah, there's different ways to go about it.
But I could give it up for that chorizo that you let me sample.
I mean, that chorizo
Chorizo
is
was
high level.
bomb.
Yeah, yeah.
That stuff
And
was-
if you leave the casing on it is natural and edible, if you leave that on it, it'll curl up. I peel it off because I don't like that, but it'll curl up like that and get the little on it if you like
Little
that.
cups
too.
of grease.
Yeah, little cups of grease.
My son-in-law
Well, that'll do you.
texted me this picture of a greasy like pizza with those little cup and char, and they're filled with little grease. The light dancing off the little. And he's like, I love soup season or something like that. I was like, oh my gosh.
Delicious. Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's kind of, and we do it every. Well, I was doing it every Friday, but now we make pizza every Sunday usually.
Right on. After church, get a little pizza.
Yeah, it's just.
Amen already. I got some pizza to make.
Yeah, I can't quit it. I can't quit pizza.
How can you? It's pizza.
I know. I thought I would get sick of it. I'm really.
What?
You saw my. I think you might have saw my recent reel I made or
Yeah.
story. I don't know. I was like late. Wasn't gonna make Pizza Friday this week. But I just got the urge, like I'm gonna have pizza Sunday
Yeah.
with Joey and the crew. But
Yeah, man.
or maybe at that time I didn't know it. I don't remember, but I didn't know if we were gonna have pizza or not tonight. But if I wasn't, I was planning on gonna have it, with my wife. But so I went and bought the Safeway dough, and it turned out good.
Right on.
I mean, it's not as good as the homemade, but
When you make your homemade dough, do you got a formula you like to follow? Is it something you came up with, or?
it's a little tweak of there's a guy called the Santa Barbara Baker.
Okay.
He's on Instagram. He's got a couple, I think he's an Uni ambassador.
Oh, right on.
YouTuber guy, I think it's a modification of one of his recipes.
Right on.
Yeah. Actually, I think he's got all kinds of recipes, but yeah, I was for the longest time I was doing only 100% Caputo 00 flour for the Neapolitan pies. Then I started doing this what I call Neapolitan, which leans a little towards New York style, and I would do bread flour and 00. And then I kept cutting the 00 back, because it's expensive.
Yes, it is.
I'm like, how much can I get away with and get where I want to be flavor-wise, And and then I was like, Roberto's, who's that guy? Roberto's Pizza Guy. He has got a book called The Pizza Czar.
Roberta's, yeah.
Roberta's,
in
yeah.
Brooklyn, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He came out, I saw some piece or some YouTube thing where the New York Times, where he was showing this dude from the New York Times how to make his, and it was 00 and AP. I'm like, AP? What?
Yeah.
I thought that was like the ghetto flour. Okay, we can. So it just opened my eyes for
The Italian ghetto.
Yeah. Let's just experiment. So now it's King Arthur bread flour with some good organic bromate free Costco
Nice.
AP flour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make 4 dough balls. I make 400 gram dough balls for
that's not a small pie.
14-inch pie.
400
Yeah.
for 40.
Yeah. So it's got a little crust on it.
A little bit.
It's thin. Maybe it's because I'm not stretching it right. I don't know. It's really thin in the
I
middle.
mean, your pies look great, so yeah. It looks,
Yeah, but I maintain that crust, and so I do. What is the ratio of flour? I do 675 grams of bread flour, and then 275 AP.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do like 25 grams of salt, 5 grams of yeast. I use Caputo yeast.
Okay.
I can't remember what it is. Is it it's the kind you have to activate. It's in like a little tin can.
Yeah. And water? What's your hydration?
Water is 619 grams of water. I don't know what the hydration would be. I want to say it's 60 maybe. Around.
Yeah, I would say it's a little low.
60,
yeah.
65.
For that style,
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. And of course,
It's okay, yeah.
people frown on this. I put sugar in the dough, a little bit of sugar.
I mean, if you
20
got,
grams.
If you got time, if you don't have time to get
I
it
like the
going,
caramelization of
that can happen too. Yeah.
the crust, and you can't really taste the sugar. I mean, I'm a little bothered by that. Oh, I'm putting sugar in this. I don't need any more sugar in my life, but you can't taste it, and I like the flavor profile it gives to the. Yeah.
Plenty of people put sugar in it though.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. We had that unconventional pizza. What did you call that pizza that was here last week?
Oh, Little Caesars.
That's what you call
Nice.
it.
Ready.
You guys got some hot and ready up in here?
We did not get it. Somebody got it, and it
Now
was
that's-
here
Tony certainly brought it in.
for sure.
That's good content right there, dude. I would
mean,
like
it was-
rock
it
that
was
all day
something.
long.
We should have
Hey,
recorded.
Hot and
about it.
ready
It's
on
still not here.
on the counter with the wood oven in the background.
But I was like, you got to hear. I got to taste it, and it tasted like cheese and pepperoni on cake. It was so fucking sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, it was aggressively sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
But
They told me they would bring in Taco Bell, and I was like, "Yeah, give me a Crunch Wrap." And then they come up with 2 Little Caesars
well, that would
pizzas.
be a big disappointment. If you're expecting a crunch wrap and get that fucking cheesy
Yeah.
cake, oh,
You're mentally set up for that, and then you
Yeah, I
got
was like, "I'm ready for some Taco Bell." No, okay, whatever.
right on, man.
for the cheese. I use a whole milk,
One of those,
low
yeah.
moisture mozzarella.
Why the
That-
moisture? What does that do?
Because of the longer bake time.
Okay.
It doesn't. The cheese doesn't separate, and
Okay.
turn all like the grease pile. Like some people like to cook it like that, but I do I haven't been like the last couple times I've made pizza, but I was doing that, and then I would have fresh, not fresh by your definition, but the fresh mozzarella you can buy at the store,
Okay.
a little ball in water, you know, and I'll tear off 3 or 4 little pieces on it. Just it adds an extra creaminess to it.
Yeah.
I think it just makes it really, yeah. So and there's a guy in Seaside running a shop called is it A&B or ABC?
Yeah, I heard of that place. Red Sauce Pizza. Shar told me about that
Dude,
joint. Yeah. Because you go down there and starve to death.
Yeah, there's no. I'm like, what? This is.
And they're open like 2 days or something like that, so I can never get a pizza
here,
there.
and why don't we have a pizza shop? I cannot understand why these people are not. What is wrong with people? Like pizza is
Pardon me, I'm
like.
checking my phone just to see
Yeah,
if
it's all
people's
good.
here, yeah.
Pizza is the ultimate like vacation. A lot of people in a beach house makes total sense to me. But you couldn't get any good pizza, and I found out about that place, and I'm like, what kind of a shop owner in Seaside is only open? What is it like?
That's like 2-3 days a week or something.
Yeah, and he's
right?
closed at 8, and I'm like,
Aaron's here. You want to go? You want me to go
Oh,
up there?
yeah.
You go there?
I got
You
it.
let him in? Cool. Pardon.
oh, the good content. Gotta wait for. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
I tried. I'm like, this pizza's pretty good.
Yeah, that was the word. I never got any, but
Yeah.
Shar told me about it.
It's pretty good.
She posted about it, and I was like, "Yo, what's good down here?" She was like, and I went there, and I was like, "Fuck, it's not even open." Like you see the box.
Herd
What
of
the
cattle.
fuck? Yeah.
Well, next time you get a chance, try it because it's it's good, and it's just one dude.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
He had like his bandana on, like
I went one for a bunch here. Yeah.
and what ABP, like just ripping. There's like you walk in and there's like all this space. There's like a bench. It's not. It's like takeout only. Like
Good.
Same
Good for
thing.
him.
He's not
Yeah.
into like worrying about a brand or anything. So that's the thing. That's the fascinating thing about like.
Good callback. Yeah.
Huh?
There's a guy just doing his thing. It's called A&B, and again,
Yeah, it's
barely
like
any
a
sign. And
terrible
we're
name.
open 2
He's, like,
days,
he's
and it's
almost
good
trying
fucking
to like
food.
not be in business, but
Yeah.
he's doing it,
Yeah.
and people want it. And then it almost turns into like there's this kind of mystery thing, like and that plays into the whole,
Yep.
you know, you want to have it even more.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know what the term would be, but it's almost like reverse branding, like. That can work too.
That works
Yeah.
too. That place is so busy, nobody goes there anymore.
There's a famous designer running. He's partner in a studio called Pentagram in New York City. Mm-hmm. They're big time, like the top brands of the world. You know, they're all over that Netflix documentary about I forget what it was called. It was like creativity, and they had a bunch of designers featured on it, and objectivity or object. I don't remember. No, that's a documentary. Another one. But he was saying, I think it was him. You could brand a turd like, you know, you need to have consistency. You need to, you know, do certain things like at Five Guys. Like, Five Guys doesn't have stellar branding, but you know it's a Five Guys. You know their menu. You know their whole vibe. Everything looks, you know, a certain way.
Eka Mouse. Is he coming in?
He's in the restroom.
Oh, okay. Right on.
So
Yeah, Five Guys, yeah. But they got
yeah.
good burgers.
So it's like,
Not good French fries, but good burgers.
yeah, the fries need to be a little crispier, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that's a general thing about them.
Yeah.
Well, and hand cut too. I was just having this discussion with Mike about hand cut because I worked at McMenamins for years, and
Yeah.
they do hand cut, and they just never get unless you freeze them. They never really get that crispy.
Did you fry them twice?
We would like blanch them.
Yeah,
and then,
double fry them and then.
Did you rinse them before that? That's the big move.
yeah.
you got to
So
rinse the starch off.
we would put them in a bucket, fill with water overnight. Pour it out the water, rinse it out, blanch them, then put them back in the walk-in, and then fry them to order.
And they still weren't good. That's the way to do it.
It's like some of them would be fine, but we still got complaints that too mushy. Whatever. It's just like it was inconsistent. It's hard to get like the whole staff to do it the same way
Yeah.
across the company, you know. And
I think I like crinkle cut.
That is a good option. Or the fucking spirally ones, too. They're not
Oh
bad.
yeah, the curly fries. Have you
Yeah.
been to Super Deluxe in Portland?
Yeah.
Either one of you guys?
Yes.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Love Super
Yeah,
Deluxe.
French fries, I mean, there's a thing to it, but that's the move. You cut them right into the water, you rinse
Yeah.
the starch off them, even let them sit overnight if you can, and then the low fry until they're cooked, cool them, and on the pickup you hit them at the 350, 380, 375, where you want to fucking do it, and boom.
well, Mike,
You come in here. Come on in if you want.
Are we still rolling? Is the camera still rolling?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
camera's
still
still
Right
rolling.
on.
Look at this fucking guy. There's a whole fucking place in here
to the
now.
workstation.
Right on. Right on. Welcome.
We're talking
Mark
about
is Aaron.
Aaron. Nice. to meet
Aaron,
you.
Mark.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
We're talking about French fries and
Beautiful.
burger joints.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful.
Speaking of that, I tried to go to Goon, but I got here a little bit earlier.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I tried to go over to Irrelevant, and I'm like, dude, I ain't getting in there.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
like
a fucking
celebrity,
Mongolian
dude. I should get a
clusterfuck.
VIP.
Exactly, right?
I'm
Yeah,
not
you're right
cele-
to the front of the line.
Like, I did the branding here, man. Where's my?
Exactly.
Get out of the way, people. You civilians. But I was like, PTSD. I'm like stressed out. I'm like, yeah. It feels like everybody was just looking at me when I walked up there, and they're like,
They were.
"Who's this cat?" Like, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I went up next door and bought my bag of coffee.
Yeah,
and
get a coffee and
bailed.
Fuck your burger. I'll come back later.
Yeah, when
not
it's,
a jillion
when it's
people
not
in there.
open, and maybe I can get the.
Yeah, man. I know a guy. Charlie knows a guy. You can get a burger.
Yeah, we
no
can-
worries. Make a burger happen.
I heard there. I mean, the pictures look oozy,
It is a
gooey,
fucking tasty
juicy.
burger.
Like,
You're gonna have one,
oh
and you're gonna
man,
crave them.
I'm cracked
I don't know
out.
if it's a little bit of the they're putting it, but it's fucking good, man.
Nice.
You can probably do a shot of goon sauce. You got any goon sauce?
We don't have anything. We're lacking.
Oh, there is a shot of goon sauce.
We're lacking. in-
No,
They make their own sauce
What
to
you-
put
what
on
is
the burger.
No, it's the goon sauce. I thought it was.
You were just saying that. You're trying to placate me. I could tell. With the ranch.
Because I think they put soy sauce in their ranch or whatever.
Really?
'Cause they-
Soy sauce. Is that what they?
Well, that's what's in here: soy sauce and shallots.
You giving away
Really?
recipes? Look at you.
Well, there's other
On the
secret
internet.
ingredients. I'm not saying the proportions or anything.
Right on. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Blame Mike Bilmo. He told me.
I'm sure it's evolved.
But like their ranch is the same color as the goon sauce. So like,
I mean, throw a handful of dill in the goon sauce and call it ranch. That's great marketing right there. One batch, split it in half,
Yeah.
call the other stuff, serve it with the chicken tenders, and there you go.
they got buffalo sauce now. They make their own buffalo sauce. It is so good.
Turn on the sauce monsters.
Man.
I love it.
I dip my Lucille into the buffalo. Ooh, yeah.
Nice.
Your hamburger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lucille with
Yeah, I was like, what are you
grilled
talking
onions.
about?
Exactly. So fucking kids in the hall sketch. My balls in it. Mayonnaise. My
Dang.
balls in it.
I gotta try it though. We live in a. There's nothing. We got Burgerville. We don't have. We don't
Not a
have.
terrible.
I like
place.
Burgerville.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can get it, when you roll up, like I order the fries, I don't get salt because I don't need the extra salt. But miraculously, my burgers tend to be smoking hot. I don't know if they're like doing it all fresh, but like typically
To order, yeah, it does
Burgerville's like they're just kind of tempered. They're not really hot. And I'm like, man, if this thing was right off the griddle. But like the last 3 times I've been hitting it where it's like almost too hot to eat, and I'm like, this is the best burger. It is. It's really.
Nice.
I think it's better than In-N-Out, like for that style of like
That's tall.
chain.
They buy good ingredients. I was I think when we first opened, I was at some food talk thing, and the head guy of Burgerville was the keynote speaker or whatever.
Okay.
And the stuff he was saying, I was like, you're doing all right. Like they buy
Yeah.
beef from these people on this farm in Oregon. You know, the fish. I think the fish and chips is the best thing to get there.
The fish and
It was
chips
like
are
we
good.
buy it from this boat.
Yeah.
We contract with that boat. We buy it all from them.
Yeah.
They do like seasonal shit here and there, like rosemary fries and Walla Walla onion rings and stuff
Rosemary,
like that. I'm
the
like,
truffle.
Truffle fries.
yeah, right. You get the strawberry milkshake in season. It's like,
Yeah, they do.
you're
a good
doing all
job.
right. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the fuck Burgerville. I mean, I've been eating there a long ass time because there's Goon Burger and shit. Oh, and the fucking one, the secret tip did I tell you about it? I talked about it on here? The one that Tim Brown from Tim Brown Knives told me about?
Secret tip, like off menu.
No, it's a burger joint. We were talking about Goon Burger, and he like did one of these. He was like, put my reputation on the line.
are we
Check
alone
this- Yeah,
right
it was
now?
like Gorilla Grill.
Oh, yo.
Gorilla
I
Grill.
live like right next to it.
You know about the
Really?
Gorilla
Yes,
Grill?
Dude, yes, dude. It is like the. Yeah, like don't tell. I don't want people to blow up my spot.
I've been in
dude.
there. I've been 10 deep
It's
in
in a
line.
gas
It's in a
station.
fucking gas station.
That's the
So
best.
Gas. So good.
That's the. I've heard of like the best chicken places or barbecue places or Mexican right out of a gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's legit. And you can go there. Last time he said, get the plain Jane, which is like the equivalent of like a Lucille. It's like a single and doesn't have all the fancy stuff on it. $4.99. I got that. I got a Lucille, not a plain Jane, a fucking bacon double cheeseburger, and an order of fries, and it was under $20. Wow. I was like, is that right? Did you ring me up for everything? Lisa and I went there last week and got 4 hamburgers and 2 French fries, and it was $30. That's good. They make everything to fucking order. Guys cleaning the fryer as we're doing it. I got to use the other fryer. I'm like, oh, you can do what you got to fucking do. And there's 10 people deep in there waiting for fucking hamburgers in the convenience store.
Wow, I love it.
Legit.
Even a
It
better.
was good. I mean, it's not a Goon Burger. I mean, I would go Goon Burger first, but they're not open all the time yet. Soon, maybe. Grill, not bad.
They're not going to keep the same hours as the beer joint?
I think they're off on Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Mac was telling me when I was there. They're closing. So Goon Burger's going to be there 5 days a week, so the tap room's going to close early those days.
Wow.
So whatever those days are, maybe get yourself a Gorilla Grill. Yeah, when the Goons is gooning, go get your Goon and Goo Goo.
Sorry, what's your name again? Sorry.
Aaron.
Aaron, to Aaron's point, yeah, I drove around there. I'm like, what? Dude, there's like no place to park for 2 blocks because of the impact of. Now I know it's just freshly opened, but that's going to have a significant impact even a year later.
Yeah,
On the traffic and the parking in that area.
absolutely.
So it's kind of like when Relevant was up, when they're tiny little.
Yeah, the tiny shop.
Those
yeah.
were the good old days, and I waxed poetic about all the time how nice and chill it was, and I would
Yeah, man.
sit at a little table and talk. And now they're just like, you can't even get in the door half the time, and it's like
You gotta have fucking headphones and a VR headset.
it's like
to
with
fucking
growth,
get
you
in.
want growth.
Bananas.
Yeah, you want growth, but like it takes away sometimes some of the special. I mean, they're not complaining. They don't want a little tiny shop with no customers in it.
I mean, I don't know if they ever had no customers, and that place was always busy. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah, all that stuff's good.
But they've been pretty methodic, slow to scale. They're just take little baby steps, not trying to do too much too soon. And yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad they got open. Like we were talking about, Mitch was on almost a year ago. And he was like, oh, we're going to be open in spring. I was like, almost a year later. Get that revenue coming in.
yeah,
Fuck that branding. Let's sell beer.
I know.
Put that shit on the back burner.
They spent a lot of money. Maybe that's why I saw Mitch on Instagram today, like a story. He was like designing a website on Wix, and I was like, I almost DM'd him like, no, you don't. Don't do that.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Not when he
sometimes.
knows the designer, like, but what was I going to say? I had a point to that besides that.
You saw Mitch doing the designing on Wix. Said, fuck
was
that
that?
branding. You know a designer.
Like their space, like the no expense spared, dude. Like not only did they pay me a chunk of change to come up with all the brand work, but like you go out on the little parklet thing and the railing, the iron
Yeah.
railing, and that little IB symbol is like knocked out of the metal at the bottom. Like
Yep.
that wasn't cheap,
Nope.
but like, and that guy, whoever I forget the name of the sign, super talented. Did all that custom metal work,
Yeah.
and like even when you walk in, that rotating, that Seb designed that. Seb is really artistic. Sebastian, yeah.
Yeah, when I was going in there and, Sebastian be out there with the computer head down, and I'd be like, you all right? I was like, when are you going to open? He told me about the things. He was like, I'm waiting for this welder to come back and fix this thing. I'm like, shh, you need to start selling beer. Dude. You don't worry about the fucking welder. You need
Yeah,
to get some revenue. But
they spent a grip, but it's
Yeah.
like a theme park, like something you'd see in Disneyland or
Yeah.
something. You walk in, you're like, whoa, but it's gonna. Yeah, I think there's good ROI on it, but
yeah,
it's pretty.
beer and coffee? Yeah, agreed.
I mean, just like with the space, like it'll get
Yeah.
people talking. It's Instagrammable. Like that's the thing. Like I think people come in, that, like I said, they just open up shop, stick a banner on the wall. Like they might have a good product, but a lot of people don't. That's the thing. A lot of people don't have a good product, and then that coupled with the fact that they're not investing in brand or marketing or anything, and they think customers are just gonna come to them.
I mean, there's places. I mean, what's that fucking one? We talk about just slapping a label on something. Supreme. They had like a fucking, what you call it, a fucking fire extinguisher. Put Supreme on it. It's $1 million. What the fuck? Is this fucking, or a hammer or something like that?
Well, that's the thing. Like you look at Apple's logo, Nike's logo. It's not that the logos are ridiculously simple. Anybody could create them, but that's not the point. It's the brand, because the brand is not the logo. The brand is not. Let's say if in Nanavo's visual identity program, it's filled with this style of
You
illustration.
got one of those?
What is this hanging here, little spider?
Little fuzz.
Get rid of
It's
that.
all right.
You ever clean this place or what?
No.
It's not this. It's like it's people's gut reaction to your joint? Like, what do they feel when they're in it? Like, what's the vibe? What's the takeaway, if you will? I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, being a brand
mean,
guy, but
Again, from a cook's perspective, you know, if they're head down and fucking, you know, in a bubble and they're eating a pizza, that's what I want. You know, is the other stuff okay? Yeah, it is what it is. You know, it's just the space.
yeah.
But, you know, this is what I'm making right now for you to have. I'm not making it for you. I'm making it for me. You know,
Yeah.
so if you're picking up what I'm putting down, if everything else adds to it,
But they don't buy what you
Congratulations.
do. People buy why you do it.
I mean,
It's like
you'd
they
like
want to
think
be a
that.
part of a tribe. All of us, whether we're trying to be cool and not be on trend or trying to not be, everybody's trying to belong to some tribe. You know,
So-
I wear these Vans old schools. I'm 50. How old am I? 55 years old.
Congratulations.
Old fart, dude.
Yeah.
And I gave up the Vans for a long time. I'm like, this isn't what a grown man should be. I'm 55. I shouldn't wear Vans. It was in this weird phase, right? And then I'm like, no. Dude, I raced BMX. I rode half pipes. I almost went pro. I shouldn't say I almost went pro. Scratch that, edit. I had aspirations to become pro. At the time, the pro riders I was watching, I was doing a lot of stuff they're doing. So I'm like, I could make a career. Maybe this is, you know. And so it was part of my DNA, BMX, right? And then I gave up BMXing in my 40s. I'd still go to the skate park, and kids would be like, "Are you sponsored, dude?" And I'm like, "Look at me. Like, this poor, do I look like an athlete to you? No, I'm not sponsored. I'm just a dad out here with my kid, and I'm
man.
shredding." And then I transitioned to mountain biking, and like, it's my DNA. Like,
Yeah.
I've wore Vans. It's who I am. It's authentic. You know, I'm not trying to be somebody.
Don't
I'm not
fake
trying
the
to be
funk.
some hipster dude wearing Vans that's too old to be wearing Vans. Like, this is who I am. You know. It's my
The shoes everybody's wearing right now.
yeah, I know. I mean, it's like I got plenty of like, you know, running shoes with the extra thick.
Yeah, man.
But I'm just being myself, you know.
Congratulations, you
Yeah.
made it.
I made it.
Yeah, get to be yourself. Right on.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like Patagonia is kind of played out in my opinion right now, but back in the day when it was kind of unattainable, people were like, "Oh, look at little Patagonia Sentinel.
Yeah.
This means I
The Patagucci.
climb mountains." You know, it's like even though they don't, but
Yeah.
it made them feel like extra rugged and
What's
it's
the
a
one
vibe.
with
It's like-
the fucking workwear now? Carhartt. You
Yeah.
wear
Yeah.
Carhartt, but you don't do no Carhartt shit. You know, it's like, all right.
It was funny. Who was it that? I think it was Arc'teryx. I think that's how you pronounce their. They did. I think they did an ad campaign that was kind of like making fun of North Face, like we don't do streetwear or something like that. It was just like oof, you know, because North Face kind of branched off into the hip hop world and all these. It was streetwear, and they're like basically trying to say we're hardcore, you know. But of course now that brand's getting accessible, and all the young little hipsters are, I want that little like skeleton. I got to be seen with that. You know, their gear's good. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
It's just.
I mean, Patagucci and Arc'teryx, they both have military contracts too.
Do they?
Yeah,
Oh.
they did. Past tense. I don't know if they
You know
still
what? They-
do, but there's like some gear you could find.
They did have that because,
Yeah.
and then Jolly Old Navy when I was out in the North Atlantic. That's some cold water out there,
Yeah,
kids.
man.
That's when I first learned about Patagonia.
Yep.
We had this polypropylene, like, soft shell with like this furry. I don't know what it was. It was
Yeah.
like fake fur or whatever, but
Keep you warm. Shit.
warmest freaking
Yeah.
jacket. And I'm like, this thing is incredible.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I started getting into it after that. And I remember I was washing dishes at a restaurant, Oldie's Supper Club.
Nice.
Yeah, they filmed a movie where I was from, and it was the best place in town. The owner had like recipes and Bon Appetit and all this. and
Nice.
so the cast and crew were there, so I got to meet. Who was it? I got. Remember Molly?
Ringwald?
Yeah, she played on.
16 Candles, right?
No, not her. Not her. Sorry, Laura.
They're
Little House on the Prairie.
oh
Yeah, Laura Ingalls. Who was
Angles,
it?
yeah. Uh-huh, yeah.
Is that her real name?
Yeah.
Or
No.
stage name?
It's not.
No, it's not a real name. Is it?
Laura
I don't
Ingalls?
know.
Laura Ingalls is the author of the books.
Who's the? I can't remember her name.
Susie, Sally, Shirley.
Samsonite.
Samsonite.
Samsonite. Samsonite. That's it. I got her autograph. So that was cool. Why am I talking about this?
Because you did the thing at Ollie's. You were there doing the movie.
I know, but what?
Laura Ingold Wild was her name, right?
Talking about the coat,
Huh?
the Patagonia coat.
I don't know why I'm talking about this, dude.
Sorry, we're good. Laura Ingold.
Melissa Gilbert, that's it. I don't.
did it.
I think I still have her autograph in a photo album. I was the dishwasher. She's like, "You give a great dish." I was like, "Oh my god!" Dude. I was like 16.
Nice.
But I still don't know. I had a good point. I was going somewhere.
Yeah, it's still a good point.
I was going somewhere with this posery, this great
You were doing
posery
a
that I
movie.
was.
You met Little House on the Prairie
What
lady.
else were we talking about
We're talking
besides-
Patagooch before that.
Patagooch jackets.
Yeah. Being really warm.
Were you wearing it while you were dishwashing?
Exactly. No, it was before the Navy. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
There it is.
So the stuff wasn't. It's still not cheap, but it wasn't cheap back in the day. There was like the 80s, and I washed dishes, and and I was able to go in and buy my first Patagonia jacket.
Oh, right on.
At the ski shop, and yeah, been hooked ever since.
Yeah, man.
I think they make good stuff, but yeah. Speaking of brilliant brand plays, they are famously known for running an ad on Black Friday, and took a whole page ad. I think it was the back of the New York Times, and just a picture of their jacket, and it's like, "Don't buy this jacket."
Nice.
They're like everybody's just fiending and going bananas,
Yeah,
TVs,
counterplay.
this, that, like animals, and they're like, "No, we don't want you to just buy crap that's going to end up in the landfill." And it's their whole shtick is like, that's why we'd rather have you fix it, and they're known for that too. And I've sent stuff in and they fix it. They'd rather
I've heard about that. Yeah.
it's and same thing with like Oakley. Oakley has a really good warranty. Like I've always worn Oakley sunglasses that are Smith, and maybe it's because I'm from the action sport world. But they'll fix it. They'll warranty it. And people say, "Well, why do you buy a $200? You're just going to break them. They're just going to get scratched." I'm like, well, people tend to cherish things that cost a little bit more money.
Yeah.
You learn to not leave them everywhere laying around without a case on them with the lens face down or whatever.
Yeah. I got an Oakley bag up there, that yellow bag. It's probably close to fucking 30 years old now. Yeah. It was specifically designed for riding motorcycles. Because on the back of it, you could put another helmet onto it and attach it to it. It was like $200 back then. And it's been around the world with me. It's my everyday bag. 30 years. It's got fucking tape on it now and everything like that, but it's a fucking solid bag. So yeah, sometimes you got to pay. You get what you pay for sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, there's always an element of like overinflated. It's like you're wearing a piece of plastic, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
You're going to pay for the brand, the hype, but a lot of it is innovation too. You're paying for you go to the store or you're at Target or whatever, and you look at, I don't know, like some set of centerpieces for your coffee table, and you're like, you see this sick carved out, hand carved looking bamboo or whatever. You're like, that is the coolest one here on the shelf. And you look at it and you're like, oh, of course it's the most expensive.
Yeah.
It's the best designed. Things that are designed well usually cost, because people aren't idiots. They know how to sell to the masses,
Exactly. Yeah.
So good design is good business.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
German cars, Italian stuff. Italian stuff's usually well designed. Function over form, or form follows function sometimes. It's like, oh, it's simple, it looks awesome, clean lines, and it fucking works. Look at that. I fucking love that.
That reminds me of that documentary, Objectified. It is called that, but that's
Objectified?
not the one that had Michael Beirut in it. But that's a really good documentary. Even if you're not a designer, you can.
Cool.
Talks about how everything that we touch is basically designed, and a lot of people don't pay attention to it, but it's
all
still,
around you.
Still important.
Yeah, exactly. It's ubiquitous. Cool, man. We could probably talk for 3-4 more hours.
You guys are like, we're never inviting this guy back again.
No, it's good. It's pretty standard time. But we got pizza to make. We got other dough guys here, so
I'm
maybe
stoked.
Kate will come through. We'll see if Kate comes through for some free pizza, and we'll figure it out. Mark, that was great, man.
Thank you for
We'll
having
have
me.
back sometime. Yeah, man.
It's been a pleasure, and yeah, it's really cool.
Thanks, man.
What you see is what you get. It's what you get.